Just to inform, we are live on YouTube now. Manish. Manish, you're on mute.
Good morning to all of you.
Good morning, Kannan ji.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Manoj.
I'm happy to see Mr. Ravi, Mr. Harish.
Same here, same here. Good to see you, Mr. Kannan.
Yeah, hi. Good to see you, Mr. Kannan. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Hope you had a wonderful week last week.
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
course,
definitely.
of course.
Really,
Meetings.
it was indeed pleasure listening your views. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, you are in the thick of things, so you know better. But now
No.
rupee has depreciated further than what we expected. Huh?
See, Mr. Kannan, this is about rupee depreciation is more to link with the dollar. So if dollar will continue to strengthen, rupee has to depreciate. And also there's another fact which is going around growth story. So when we are seeing this high inflation and interest rates rising, there is a two-way. One is you arrest inflation. So for that, either currency has to depreciate or interest rate has to rise.
Okay.
But on the other hand, we have challenges of growth, because if you go for the interest rate hike, then your growth would be impacted. So the third way is a currency intervention. So as long as a currency intervention, RBI will keep doing, they're keeping in check the volatility. But
they have done not last week, one day they have done. But there is a limit to doing that.
Absolutely. So there is a limit to currency intervention also. So it is a tough path. They have to balance. There would be a currency depreciation till we have not seen the interest rate hike in US being stopped. Because RBI cannot go for a continuous interest rate hike. It would have a repercussion on growth. India's economy is already fragile now. It's too early to go for too much rate hike. Then we will face another challenge of, because we are a large economy, where we have like a large population base, and unemployment challenges are there. When the US is into the different path, US is facing like their GDP and growth is comfortable. Along with that, they have high inflation, so they have single-minded fix on raising interest rates. But India and Europe or other countries, they are facing different challenges. They're facing slower growth and high inflation. And India is, on the other hand, inflation is now manageable, but growth is a challenge. But if currency will continue to depreciate, then there would be a challenge of inflation again. So that this is the tough path. So let's see. I think it's another 3 months, lots of volatility.
Yeah. So Mr. Manoj will agree. Like you said, US has to stop increasing the rates.
I'll tell you,
I
Kannan.
remember last time a rupee depreciated to 68 to 50.
Right.
I sent a 7-page note to US President and his 2 advisors saying that they have to indicate to the world that they have to follow indicator-based approach. What I understand, and Mr. Manoj will confirm, that in the last 2.5 years, I believe the savings with US citizens have gone up by $2.5 trillion. Actually, the wealth creation effect was much higher in US. So, what I was told was US continues to give this freebies to people who are affected, and those who are above, they have the wealth effect. So this inflation, I was told that actually it should not have a very big impact on US economy and its economic growth. Maybe what I'll do now, I will do a research. Yesterday also, I think Kenneth Rokoff has released a paper in National Bureau of Economic Research. So I'll go through some 5-6 papers, and I'll prepare a 5-6 page note, send it to US authorities on why they need to stop increasing the rates. I think
Good morning, everybody. Manish, you are there?
Manoj? Manoj, did you agree?
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, very much, very much.
Yeah, good. Manish, you are there?
Yeah, Mr. Can you hear me? Yeah,
Manish, would you
Mr.
like
Kannan,
to
yeah,
start?
Yeah, we can. We look forward to presentation by Mr. Ravi.
yeah, sure, sir.
Manish is facing some challenge, so I'll just give a welcome speech and then we can just start. Very warm welcome to all participants. I'm Aditya Agarwal from Think Tank Multi Disciplinary Global Platform, chapter leader. Welcomes you all, Think Tank Global Conclave. Without wasting any further time, we'll just move ahead with the session today. So I hand it over to Manoj to give introduction and then just take it ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Indeed, a delight to be with all of you. Excellent participants who would like to share that experiences. Mr. G Mantri is there with us once again. And Mr. Mantri would like to share lovely experiences on his subject of fashion, a new subject today, and also on his solo travels. Mr. Kannan, Mr. Ravi, Harish Madaan, Rohit, Pankaj, lots of experienced professionals from industry profession. Dr. Amit Jain. Dr. Amit Jain, you are there?
Yes, I am available.
Yeah, Amit, over to you. I would share a few words about Amit. Amit is a PhD, doctor, PhD, and a CA, and a convener for the program. Amit has been coming out with lots of ideas since over a decade for events in person in large auditoriums, as well as online initiatives to see top professionals from industry are engaged in the latest developments as they happen every day, including developments which happened yesterday and today morning globally. Amit, and also a chartered accountant, and deep dive into global issues of banking, issues of corporate affairs, lots more, including a passion for social service also. Yeah, Dr. Amit Jain, over to you.
Thanks, Manoj, for your comments. So we have very good sessions from Mantri ji and Ravi ji. So it will be very great to hear from them. We have earlier heard from them, and it was like a very good session from them. Just to introduce Mantri ji, as he has already presented many times, but let's first of all, he is my guru, he is my mentor, and as well as my very good friend. Uh, he is solo traveler this time because I was not there. So generally we travel a lot together also. So he is a MCom, LLB, CA IIB, and cost accountant by qualification. 35 years of rich experience across various fields in finance. Uh, he is visiting faculty in many management institutes in India and Dubai. He loves tracking economy and financial development, and he is he is a founder of Equicare Foundation, which is engaged in imparting financial literacy and investment management training. He is also associated with various social objectives like Socialistic Gram Vikas Yojana, Urban Rural Connect, etc. And everybody knows about his analytical ability. There is no need to comment on that. And he is a very fan of traveling. He is one of the he loves traveling solo as well. So he will share his experience also with us on how the solo traveling and what are the advantages of solo traveling, as well as what is his experience about solo traveling. So over to you, Mr. Mantri.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you, Manoj ji. Thank you, Kannan Sahab, and thanks everyone for giving me opportunity to talk to all of you once again. And this time, Manoj ji suggested that I share my views on two things. One is Sundarkand, and the other one is my solo travel experiences. So let us start with Sundarkand. और सुंदरकांड की जब बात शुरू करते हैं तो सबसे पहले तो हम हनुमान जी की स्तुति से शुरू करेंगे। मनोजवं मारुततुल्य वेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयुतमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शरणं प्रपद्ये. The meaning of this is, I take shelter of Shri Hanumanji, who is as quick as wind, as quick as mind. He is intelligent, wise, and highly learned person, who is son of wind and who is devotee of Bhagwan Ram and chief among apps. पॉइंट ये है कि हनुमान जी के बारे में जब बात करते हैं तो हम एक ऐसे व्यक्तित्व के बारे में बात करते हैं which in all the mythological characters is one of the tallest. I can say is one of the tallest characters. और before I start talking on learning from Sundarkand, थोड़ा सा मैं दो जोड़ियां हैं हमारे भगवान की और उनके भक्ति की. Let us talk first of that. In my earlier session on Bhagavad Gita, I spoke about Arjun and Krishna. And दूसरी जोड़ी है राम और हनुमान की. These are two very important pairs of devotees and their masters or भगवान. राम हनुमान की जोड़ी एक अलग हमें learning देती है because it is based on devotion. Ram never asked many questions to Hanuman. Hanumanji never asked questions to Ram. He was just a go-getter. Any task is assigned, it is done. No doubt, absolute faith, no questions in mind. At the same time, the other relationship that is between Krishna and Arjun, that's very interesting again. Arjun was very inquisitive और उसके बारे में बताया गया कि बस जिज्ञासु भक्त, और राम जो है कृष्ण हनुमान जी जो है वो डिवोशनल भक्त और ये जिज्ञासु भक्त. कृष्ण और अर्जुन की रिलेशनशिप से हमको सीखने को मिलता है बिकॉज कृष्ण आस्क्ड मेनी क्वेश्चंस ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ अस and Hanuman ji did not ask any question, but he showed us many paths by his acts and deeds. And here one more interesting point is my relationship with both of them. It's very interesting co-relationship which I would like to share is, मेरे हनुमान जी गुरु है और आराध्य मेरे कृष्ण है. That's a very different combination. The combination should have been Ram Hanuman or Arjun Krishna, but my combination is different. My guru is Hanuman ji and my इष्ट जो है वो मेरे श्री कृष्ण है. Why it is so? Because I personally feel that I am a devotee. So you can't find a better devotee than Hanuman ji. If you want to learn devotion, then you have to be first of Hanuman ji. You make him guru. And I don't find any better teacher and friend and philosopher as compared to Krishna. I don't find my connectivity with Bhagwan Ram, because Bhagwan Ram was Maryada Purushottam. So you in a practical aspect, you find, most of us find ourselves more closer to Krishna rather than Ram. So that's where I take refuge and shelter in both of them. Now we have two, as I mentioned, we have two distinct characters. One is Arjun and other is Hanuman. Arjun is intuitive; he asks questions on behalf of them. Hanumanji just delivers whatever task is assigned to them. And we, in our regular life, we meet these two kind of personality on a daily basis in our corporate world, in our families, in social activities, and everywhere. One type of persons are the go-getters. Just assign the task to them and they will achieve it. The other one is, and both, interestingly, both are capable. But one is just go-getter and the other one is, he will ask many questions, he will have many doubts, then you have to clear the doubts and he will finally accomplish the task. So around us, we find both kind of characters, employees, friends, family members. Some of them are like Hanuman, some of them are like Arjun. Now, before I start on Sundarkand, let me just tell you there are two important religious scriptures, or both are in the form of poetry. One is Mahabharata and one is Ramayana. Rest we don't really know. Vedas, how many of us know? Nobody knows. We have not read it, including me. And 99.99% people in India doesn't know anything about Vedas and Puranas. We never know one read. More than 75% people doesn't know even the names of Vedas. कितने चार वेद हैं, कितने पुराण हैं, किसी को मालूम नहीं. But these two scriptures, Mahabharata and Ramayana, actually are the most prominent ones. काफी globally इसके ऊपर research भी हुई है और काफी कुछ इसके ऊपर लिखा भी गया है. There are a lot of commentaries and both these are poetries. Again, in Ramayana, they're very interesting. In Mahabharata also, let me just finish with the Mahabharata. In the entire Mahabharata, only Bhagavad Gita is prominently used or understood. Rest of the Mahabharata, nobody either keeps in the home or not, nobody reads it. In case of Ramayana also, there are 7 chapters, but the most prominent one, which is recited thousands of times and almost on a daily basis, is Sundarkand. So 7 chapter में से केवल सुंदरकांड ही सबसे ज़्यादा महत्वपूर्ण है. And the interesting part is, it has nothing to do with about Ram. It is more about Hanumanji and his character. So this is very interesting part. Now, let me straight away come to the lessons. And let me once again tell you one thing, which I always repeat in my presentations, that the quality of governance depends on the quality of voters, and quality of lecture delivers depends on the quality of questions being asked. So I would request all of you to ask me as many questions as possible so that we can have a dialogue session instead of a monologue session. So first, let me just take you a couple of major lessons to be learned. हनुमान जी की जो पर्सनैलिटी है वो है कि ही इज हैप्पी, ऑलवेज हैप्पी. मन प्रसन्नता न तेज विराजा, मतलब ही इज ऑलवेज हैप्पी, हैविंग वेरी गुड ऑरा, no regrets, no complaints, go-getter, simple, humble, egoless, and focused on his job. These are the major qualities of Hanumanji. And before we start Sundarkand, how this story started? It started from किष्किंधा कांड. देखिए ये एक बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है कि हनुमान जी राम जी को जानते भी नहीं थे. They first met in Rishimukh Parvat when these two brothers were sitting on a Spatik Sila, or they were just दुखी थे क्योंकि सीता माता का अपहरण हो चुका था. So they were not very happy. Or at the same time, Sugriv was dethroned by his brother, and he was also looking for some help. So he assigned the task to Hanuman ji ki you find somebody, these two boys or two young boys are sitting there, and they look like very ओजस्वी हैं और ये काफी प्रभावशाली योद्धा दिखते हैं. So it's better you go and meet them and understand what they can help us and what they can do for us and what we can do for them. So first relationship and encounter जो हनुमान जी का राम जी के साथ वो बड़ा interesting है. It was not as a devotee. It was more as a you can say a bureaucrat or a delegate. What word uses I mean जो हमारे दूत राजदूत होते हैं वैसा इसके लिए. It was an ambassador kind of thing, and he just wanted to convey his message to Ram and understand what are their capabilities and what they can do. So पहला तो इनका जो encounter हुआ वो भक्त और भगवान का नहीं था, वो encounter था एक transactional point of view से होता है कि भाई तुम आप सुग्रीव को मदद करें कार्य दिलाने में और फिर हम आपको सीता जी को ढूंढने में मदद करेंगे. दिस हाउ द थिंग स्टार्टेड. सो ये यहाँ से शुरुआत होती है और वहीं पे हनुमान जी को राम जी को समझ में आ गया था कि हम लोग एक दूसरे के काफी काम आ सकते हैं. बिकॉज सी वहां पे आपके कैरेक्टर रिफ्लेक्ट होना चालू हो जाता है कि सुग्रीव की तकलीफ होने के बावजूद भी हनुमान जी वॉज helping him out. I mean, he was not a fair weather friend. So the first thing we learned from Hanumanji is that he was not at all a fair weather friend. He was trying to help his master when he was in trouble. So ये एक बड़ा लेसन हमें वहां सीखने को मिलता है. उसके बाद जब ये बात आगे बढ़ती है तो हम सुंदरकांड की तरफ प्रवेश करते हैं. तो यहाँ पे एक इंटरेस्टिंग चीज होती है कि जो सिलेक्शन आप अपन यहाँ पे कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड में एक नई चीज यहाँ सीखने को मिलेगी हमको कि हम किसी भी प्रोजेक्ट के लिए टास्क जब असाइन करते हैं तो how do we select a person, how the team is being built. So Ramji had some inclination because of Jatayu, because of other things that somebody, is Ravan or somebody else who has taken who has kidnapped Sita Mata, has gone to south. So the most powerful team was assigned to south. That's very interesting. When we have some task in hand, we must assign our most powerful team to the most important location or most important job. So 3-4 prominent members like Hanumanji, Angad, and Jamban and Nal, this kind of 4 prominent Vanar were selected for South, selected for South team. So here we learn a lesson that how we select the team. Then as they moved on and reached to sea, then a big question came how to conquer it, how to cross the sea and go to Lanka and find out Sita Mata. Then there was a debate between Jamban, very interesting debate, which normally we take place in our corporate world and our businesses. So Jamban, Angad and Hanuman, all 3 were there. Who should go now? Jamban says, I am very old, I can't do this task. Any one of you have to do it. Now Angad proposed that yes, I can do it. I can go, but I can't come back. I have doubt about my ability to come back. The interesting conversation between Jamban and Angad is that you are the leader. Jamban said to Angad, you are the leader. You cannot go because leader should not be exposed directly. This is a very interesting lesson for a corporate world. आपको पता होगा जब 9/11 की जो घटना हुई थी ताज में जब अटैक हुआ था तो फ्रंट लाइन पुलिस ऑफिसर्स they sacrificed their life where they were the leaders. They should not have ventured into it. I read somewhere and that's actually there is a learning that Angad was leader though he was the youngest and Jamban was the eldest. Neither Jamban was not capable, so he didn't go and Angad being the team leader, he was not allowed to go. Then the third character which came in the picture is Hanumanji. Hanumanji was not aware of his capabilities and potential. So Jambanji worked for him as a human potential counselor that you can do this great work. You have done much bigger task earlier. आपने तो ऐसा कोई भी काम दुनिया में नहीं है जो आप नहीं कर सकते हो और you actually grabbed son when you were child. So you have the ability to do different tasks. ये जब उनको बताया गया कि आप इतना बड़ा काम कर सकते हो तो यहाँ पे हनुमान जी ने ये पूछा नहीं कि मैं कैसे कर सकता हूँ, क्यों कर सकता हूँ, क्यों नहीं कर सकता हूँ. He instantly agreed and so that is the positivity in that personality. अब इससे आगे बढ़ते हैं तो फिर मैरिलन का एक लेसन आता है कि क्या करना है, what to do and how to do. हनुमान जी never asked how to do, he asked what to do. That's very interesting. He was assigned a particular job to do. So he says कि मैं जाऊंगा तो मैं उनको लेके आ जाऊंगा, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. सीता माता को लेके आना मेरे लिए बहुत आसान है. I'll go and bring her. But you tell me what to do. यहाँ पे एक बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज होती है कि जो डेलीगेट होता है उसको क्या काम करना चाहिए, कितना करना चाहिए, अपने मास्टर की जो रेपुटेशन है, जो ऑरा है वो भी दांव पे नहीं लगना चाहिए. जो काम मास्टर के योग्य है वो मास्टर करते हैं, जो काम हमें करना है वो हमारे लिए योग्य हो करना है. जामवंत जी ने कहा कि नहीं, यू ओनली गो get information about Mata Sita. You need not to bring her, though I know that you can bring her. But if you bring her, then that will be a kind of insult to Bhagwan Ram. So let him do the job. Your job is only to get information, not to bring her. तो ये कि यहाँ सोचने की बातें हैं, ये सब हमें लीडरशिप लेसन्स मिलते हैं, हमें मैनेजमेंट लेसन्स मिलता है कि टीम कैसे बनाना, टीम के इंडिविजुअल का सिलेक्शन कैसे करना, उसको काम कैसे असाइन करना, वो काम कितना करे और कैसे करे, ये सब चीजें हमें उनको बताना होती है. The interesting part is when Ram started, he majorly faced 3 hurdles. First was not a hurdle. First was actually a kind of gesture from sea. ये इतनी दूर जा रहे हैं तो एक मेनाक नाम का पर्वत आता है कि भाई जस्ट रेस्ट एंड देन यू मूव ऑन. तो यहाँ पे एक इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है कि once the task is assigned and task is not fulfilled, he was not interested in taking rest. तो हम अक्सर हमें ये सीखने का होता है कि we should not be in comfort zone till the task is assigned or till the task is completed. So that's very interesting learning. Second one was actually an examination. जो हमें obstacles कभी-कभी लाइफ में क्रिएट होते हैं, they are basically an examination. Our boss or our parents or our teacher assigning something and difficult. So probably that may be just to ensure that whether we are capable or not. So बीच में एक राक्षसी आती है, वो उनको खाने की प्रयास करती है, और वहाँ पे जो सुरसा नाम की राक्षसी आती है, वहाँ पे हनुमान जी अपने रूप को, सुरसा मुंह बढ़ाती है, हनुमान जी अपना साइज बढ़ाते हैं. तो यहाँ पे केवल ये सीखने का है कि हाउ इंटेलिजेंट एंड हाउ क्लेवर ही वाज टू I mean expand, enlarge his size and to reduce his size as per the requirement time and required. तो हमें भी ये सीखने को मिलता है कि हम जो भी काम करते हैं उसमें हमें कहाँ हमारे कद को बढ़ाना चाहिए, हमें कहाँ चुप रहना चाहिए, कहाँ बोलना चाहिए, कहाँ कितना जो फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी जो है वो उसके अंदर अपने को देखने को मिलती है. इसके बाद एक इंटरेस्टिंग ऑब्जर्वेशन मेरा इसमें ये आता है कि जब हनुमान जी लंका जाते हैं तो वहाँ पे 3-4 चौपाई जिस वक्त इसका ध्यान नहीं जाता है. दे आर वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. These three, four stanzas are about the beauty of Sri Lanka. Now very interesting. श्रीलंका की खूबसूरती और प्रॉस्पेरिटी को देख के हनुमान जी चकित हो गए थे, आश्चर्यचकित हो गए थे. व्हाट सच ए वंडरफुल प्लेस इट इज. तो यहाँ हमें एक लेसन है कि प्रॉस्पेरिटी is one part of it, but maintaining prosperity throughout the life with humility is something very difficult, which probably Ravan somewhere missed it. इतनी बेहतरीन किंगडम बनाना, इतना सब कुछ सुविधाएं देना, वहां अगर आप 3-4 जो स्टैंडर्ड में पढ़ेंगे तो आपको लगेगा कि लंका क्या रही होगी. सो समवेयर दैट प्रॉस्पेरिटी दिमाग में घुस जाती है तो फिर एरोगेंस आ जाता है, और एरोगेंस आता है तो वहां से हमारा पतन शुरू हो जाता है. दिस इज अनदर लेसन टू बी लर्न फ्रॉम Sundarkand, that we need to be grounded at all the times. Otherwise, there was nothing wrong with Ravan. He was a great leader. He was otherwise it was not possible for anyone to build such a wonderful city. So, and he was Gyani also. His father was Pulas. He was also Muni. So I mean, he had everything except I mean, what killed his entire kingdom was the arrogance, and that many of us encounter such things. किसी व्यक्ति का क्लर्क से हिटलर का प्रमोशन हो जाता है तो इतना एरोगेंस और इतना दिमाग में गर्मी आ जाती है, तो हम समझ सकते हैं कि एक आम आदमी के लिए ग्राउंडेड रहना डिफिकल्ट होता है. बट दिस इज व्हाट वी नीड टू लर्न. अगली बात जो वहां से सीखने को मिलती है कि अब वहां से वो एंटर होते हैं, तो हाउ ही एंटर्स इनटू श्रीलंका और लंका. तो वहां पे एक लंकिनी नाम की राक्षसी होती है. शी वाज गार्डिंग द एक्चुअली द एंट्रेंस गेट. तो ही ट्राइड टू अवॉइड द कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. देखिए ये बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग बात है कि वो वैसे भी उसको मार के अंदर घुस सकते थे, सब कुछ सोचते थे, लेकिन फालतू क्यों कॉन्फ्लिक्ट पैदा करना लाइफ के अंदर. सो ही वांटेड टू साइलेंटली एंटर द सिटी. सो सिंपली चेंज हिज व्यू. मक्खी के समान छोटा सा रूप बनाया और अंदर घुसने लगे. बट ही कुड नॉट एस्केप द विजिलेंट आईज ऑफ दैट लंकिनी. So she actually then after there was a fight between both of them, and he killed Lankini. And there she gave him a blessing, and she simply told कि मुझे ऐसा मैसेज था कि यार मुझे ऐसा, जब मैं यहाँ आई थी तब ये था कि जब जिस दिन भी तुम किसी वानर के हाथ परेशान हो तो समझ लेना कि यहाँ पे श्रीलंका का पतन या लंका का पतन शुरू हो जाएगा. So this is where how to handle situation, how to avoid conflict is interesting lesson from here. Now the next interesting learning in a sequence is that when you enter into an unknown place, how do you find the target, how to search. अभी जिंदगी में कभी वहां गए नहीं, देखा नहीं, माता सीता माता है कहाँ, कुछ पता नहीं. How do you find that? So he searched from place to place, building to building, And finally, we ended up with a building which has a symbol of Bhagwan Ram, like Ramayut Ankit शोभा वर्णि न जाए, ऐसा एक चौपाई है जिसमें बताया गया है कि एक घर उन्हें ऐसा मिला जिसमें धनुष बाण लगे हुए थे, तुलसी का छोटे पौधा लगा हुआ था, तो उन्हें लगा कि ये किसी सज्जन आदमी का घर होना चाहिए, क्योंकि यहाँ बाकी तो कहीं मुझे कोई दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है, मैं पूछूं तो किससे पूछूं. तो an unknown place, how to reach your target, and this is how he searched the place, and then he had a brief dialogue between Vibhishan and himself, and then Vibhishan guided where is Mata Sita. Now the next step he did is immediately he moved to Ashok Vatika where Sita was confined. वहां पे उन्होंने जब देखा कि वो रावण आया, रावण ने धमकाया, से कुछ किया, so he was very much annoyed, very much disturbed, but did not interfere anything. He did not do anything. Once Ravan moved out, then he approached to Mata Sita, and it is very interesting. He didn't just jump कि मैं आ गया हूँ और मैं ऐसा ऐसा हूँ, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं हुआ. He first threw the ring from top, because the person who is frightened in such a situation, you just can't go and tell, and how she will believe, because ये सब आपको पता होगा, जितने राक्षस अपना रूप बदलते थे, बहुरूपी थे, तो she won't believe that this gentleman is representing राम जी और उनके दूत हैं या उन्होंने भेजा है, ऐसा समझ नहीं पाती. तो बड़ा in a very slow and steady manner he introduced himself. First he threw the ring, then he jumped slowly नीचे आए, उन्होंने बताया मैं आया हूँ, मैंने ये मैसेज किया है, ऐसा ऐसा, और राम जी ने मैसेज किया, और सीता माता को कॉन्फिडेंस में लिया. तो यहाँ इंटरेस्टिंग चीज ये कि जब आप किसी हेल्पलेस पर्सन जो बहुत नेगेटिव सिचुएशन में हो, उसकी मेंटल स्टेटस पे जाके स्टेपिंग इन द शूज ऑफ दैट पर्सन, एंड देन यू आर टॉकिंग टू दैट पर्सन, सो ही slowly built that confidence between in Sita Mata's mind. Yes, he seems to be capable, and he has definitely come from Bhagwan Ram. So after a lot of comfort, she narrated कि ये यहाँ पे मैं इतने दिन से परेशान हुई है और वो राम जी क्यों नहीं आ रहे हैं, why he is not doing and all that. वो सब चीजें उनकी चर्चा हुई, बातचीत हुई. उसके बाद जब माता का पता लग गया, अब यहाँ एक इंटरेस्टिंग चीज, बीच में मैंने एक बार जिक्र किया था कि तो सुरसा ने उनको एक मैनाक ने, सॉरी सी ने पर्वत मैनाक को बताया, और वो वहां पे उनको एक विश्राम के लिए जगह दी कि यू टेक रेस्ट, एंड हनुमान जी रिफ्यूज्ड ड्यूरिंग द जर्नी. नाउ once the task is accomplished, हनुमान जी asked माता सीता, now I want to have food. Very interesting है कि जब काम पूरा नहीं हुआ तो he did not rest for a minute. The moment the task is completed, he asked for a food. And then interesting, he could have taken the food. I mean, जो पेड़ों पे, वृक्ष पे जितने भी फूड लगे थे वो खा सकते थे बिना किसी परमिशन के, लेकिन इसके बावजूद भी एक जो एटिकेट्स और मैनर्स की बात होती है, उन्होंने माता सीता से पूछा कि यदि आप परमिशन दो तो मैं यहाँ फूड खाना चाहूंगा, क्योंकि मेरे काफी भूख लग रही है, तो मैं भोजन करूंगा. तो माता सीता ने भी ऐसा देखा कि ये बहुत छोटा वानर है, ये अगर फूड खाने जाएगा तो यहाँ राक्षस इनको मारपीट करेंगे. She also ensured as a motherly touch and love that look, ये काफी बड़े बड़े हैं और तुम बहुत छोटे हो, इनसे कैसे निपटोगे. तो उन्होंने कहा इनका मुझे माता कोई भय नहीं है, इनसे मैं निपट सकता हूँ. तब उन्होंने अपना विराट रूप जो है, भगवान अपना शरीर बढ़ा के बड़ा रूप माता सीता को दिखाया, एंड शी वाज कन्विंस्ड कि यस ही कैन अचीव दिस टास्क. तो यही सब चीजें हमें यहाँ कहीं एक हर एक स्टैंजा के अंदर एक चीज सीखने को मिलती है. हाउ डू वी रीड, एंड वी रीड बिटवीन द लाइन्स. उसके बाद जब वो फल खा रहे थे तो उस समय ऑब्वियसली तोड़फोड़ की, सब झाड़ वाड़ उखाड़ दिए, सब कुछ हुआ. तो उस समय वहाँ काफी योद्धा थे, तो उनको भी मारपीट हुई, झगड़ा हुआ, काफी बात बढ़ गई. तो इंद्रजीत को भेजना पड़ा. एक अक्षय कुमार जो उनका बेटा था, उसको तुमने मार ही दिया था, रावण के एक पुत्र को. तो उसके बाद इंद्रजीत आए. ये सब जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हुआ, तो इसके बारे में रावण ने उनकी सभा में पूछा जब इनको पकड़ के ले गए. तो उन्होंने कहा देखिए, मैं तो मेरा बंदर हूँ, मुझे भूख लगी थी, मैंने खाना खाया, तो मुझे जब मारपीट करी तो मैंने मारपीट करी. मैंने अपने मन से तो मारपीट शुरू नहीं की. व्हेन योर पीपल स्टार्टेड फाइटिंग विद मी, आई स्टार्टेड फाइटिंग विद देम. दैट्स द केस. सो दिस हाउ ही प्रेजेंटेड हिज केस एवरीवेयर. और यहाँ पे एक इंटरेस्टिंग चीज आती है कि जब इंद्रजीत जो उन्होंने ब्रह्मास्त्र चलाया, तो हनुमान जी के मन में आया कि यदि मैं ये ब्रह्मास्त्र का सम्मान नहीं करता हूँ तो ये ब्रह्मा जी का अपमान हो जाएगा. तो डिस्पाइट knowing that is able to I mean escaped that attack of Brahmastra, he surrendered. And उनको फिर बाद में आपको पता है कि उनको बांध के ले गए और रावण की सभा में उनका वार्तालाप हुआ और ये सब चीजें हुए. So in the whole process, he did not actually cross any line. He always worked as a messenger, and he gave a messenger in a जो एम्बेसडर को जो मैसेज देना चाहिए, जो उसी तरीके से उन्होंने वहाँ मैसेज दिया इन अ वेरी कंपोज्ड, काम एंड फोकस्ड मैनर. जब उसके बाद ये तय हुआ रावण की सभा में, नाउ ही हैज टू बी टॉट अ लेसन. तो या तो मार दिया जाए, तो विभीषण ने सजेशन दिया कि ये मारना ठीक नहीं है, क्योंकि ये इज एम्बेसडर, तो यू हैव टू ट्रीट हिम लाइक एन एम्बेसडर. तो इसको और भी कोई डैमेज करना चाहो तो कर दीजिए. So that time हनुमान जी executed the project which we all know, कि जिसमें तेल भी लंका का था, कपड़ा भी लंका का था, सारी सुविधाएं लंका की थी, और जिस तरीके से उन्होंने वो पूरा प्रोजेक्ट बिना किसी अपने खर्चे पे पूरा एग्जीक्यूट करके आए, which we all of us are aware. So with this I mean two things at the end I will tell you, कि यहाँ पे दो बड़ी बातें हुई है हनुमान जी के जीवन में. एक तो माता सीता ने जो उनको आशीर्वाद दिए हैं वो अभी तक किसी को कभी मिले नहीं है. एक तो उन्होंने आशीर्वाद दिया था अजर अमर गुण विधि सुतो हो, मतलब हनुमान जी को ऐसा आशीर्वाद है कि आप अजर हो, मतलब कभी बूढ़ापा नहीं आएगा, कभी बीमार नहीं होंगे, अमर हो, कभी मृत्यु नहीं होगी, एंड गुण निधि सितो हो, कि आपको सारे गुण जितने भी है, उनके जितने भी गुण निधि है, वो सब आपके अंदर हो. ये वरदान माता सीता ने दिया था. दूसरी एक और इंटरेस्टिंग जो माता सीता का आशीर्वाद उनको है, वो हमें मिलता है देखने में हनुमान चालीसा में, और बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग है. अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता. ये कितनी बड़ी बात है कि हनुमान जी को ऐसा वरदान माता सीता ने दिया है कि अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता. मतलब वरदान हमेशा ऐसा दिया जाता है कि तुम अष्ट सिद्धि के मालिक हो, या तुम अष्ट सिद्धि या नवनिधि तुम्हें मिली है, तुम्हें कोई चीज गिफ्ट की. लेकिन माता सीता ने तो उनको वहां तक एम्पावर किया कि ये गिफ्ट तुम किसी को दे सकते हो. तो दैट्स अ वेरी बिग थिंग. इट इज पॉसिबल ओनली बिकॉज ही वाज एब्सोल्युटली ईगोलेस. इतना सब होने के बाद भी उन्होंने अपने लिए कुछ नहीं चाहा. एक बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग बात यह है कि हनुमान जी वाज अ किंग मेकर. उन्होंने पहले सुग्रीव को राजा बनाया, फिर उन्होंने विभीषण को राजा बनाया, उसके बाद राम जी के राज्याभिषेक तक गए. तो पॉइंट ये है कि ही एक्सपेक्टेड नथिंग फॉर हिमसेल्फ, एंड ही ऑलवेज वर्क egoistically the task assigned to him. and इससे भी बड़ी बात है कि हनुमान जी ने अपने जीवन में काम ही तीन किए, बड़े काम किए, तीन काम किए. एक तो विभीषण को, एक तो सुग्रीव को अपना राज्य दिलाया, दूसरा सीता का पता लगाया, और तीसरा लक्ष्मण जी को जो शक्तिवान लगा था उस समय, उनका जीवन बचाया. तो यदि कोई व्यक्ति ईगोलेसली अपने प्रयास करता है और काम करता है, तो आई थिंक ही कैन अचीव मोर. एंड दिस इज व्हाट फ्रॉम माय साइड, कि हनुमान जी के जो कैरेक्टर है उससे हमें सब चीज सीखने को मिलती है. नाउ द पॉइंट इज हाउ कैन वी बी लाइक दिस. तो इसमें एक बात है कि कभी भी हमें सब चीजें एक साथ हम नहीं कर सकते जीवन के अंदर. तो आइडिया इज दैट वन शुड ट्राई टू अचीव ओनली वन थिंग इन लाइफ. So SWOT analysis होता है हमारा strength, weakness, opportunities and all that. So you should focus on one strength and rest of the strengths will automatically come. ये भगवत गीता में भी जिक्र है, और हनुमान जी के हम देखते हैं कि आप सारी अच्छाई एक साथ अपने मिलाने की कोशिश करेंगे तो मुश्किल जाएगा. The idea is that you should focus only on one, and then that one will bring many other good traits in you. So इसमें हम ये कह सकते हैं समरी में कि अच्छाई से अच्छाई बढ़ती है. जब हम अच्छी बातें करते हैं तो अच्छाई बढ़ती है, जब अच्छा सोचते हैं तो अच्छाई बढ़ती है, अच्छा काम करते हैं तो अच्छाई बढ़ती है. एंड दिस पर्टिकुलर प्लेटफॉर्म व्हाट वी हैव क्रिएटेड इज टू टॉक गुड थिंग्स, टू लर्न गुड थिंग्स एंड टू मीट गुड पीपल. इट्स ऑल अबाउट दिस थिंग टैंक. थैंक यू वेरी मच. इसके साथ मैं अपनी बात समाप्त करूंगा, और चाहूंगा कि यदि कोई आप कोई सवाल पूछना चाहें तो आई विल ट्राई टू आंसर दोस क्वेश्चंस. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Sir, this is Ravi here. I have a question for you. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Why is that Sundarkand is the more glorified than the other Kands of the Ramayana? Am I right? There are 7 from Balkand to Yuddhakand. There are 7, and but then Sundarkand is the one that is most glorified, and most people read it in their house. So I would like to hear from you. What is that couple of factors, or the X factor that is the decisive factor?
A very good question, Ravi sir. The decisive factor is the character of Hanuman ji himself. I mean, he worked all these things selflessly. और इसमें एक इंटरेस्टिंग चीज ये आती है जो मैंने आपको मेरे पॉइंट में बताया कि अजर अमर गुण निधिस्तु हो, ये जो माता सीता ने उनको आशीर्वाद दिया, और ये कि अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता स्वर की माता, ये जो आशीर्वाद दिया, इससे भी बड़ी तीसरी एक इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है कि राम जी ने खुद ने, जब भगवान राम को हनुमान जी ने जाके बताया कि माता सीता का हमने खोज की है, उस समय भगवान राम ने चौपाई के अंदर लिखा है कि मेरे पास ऐसा कोई साधन नहीं है कि मैं तुम्हारा कर्जा चुका सकूं। आई डोंट सी एनी वे टू गेट रीड ऑफ और टू डिस्चार्ज द डेट आई ओ यू। ये कितनी बड़ी बात है। भगवान राम यदि हनुमान जी को ये बोलते हैं, जो हम जिनको इनकारनेशन मानते हैं, जिनको इस पूरी यूनिवर्सल कॉन्शियसनेस और कॉस्मिक एनर्जी का एक प्रतिरूप मानते हैं, वो स्वयं बोलते हैं कि मेरे पास ऐसा कोई तरीका नहीं दिख रहा है कि मैं आप तुम्हारे कर्ज को चुका सकूं, हाउ टू बी डेट फ्री। तो पॉइंट यहाँ पे यह है कि ये पूरे 7 के अंदर यही एक ऐसा अध्याय है जहाँ पे हनुमान जी की अनन्य भक्ति का जिक्र है। बाकी सब दूसरे जितने भी हैं, वहाँ कहीं ना कहीं रिलेशनशिप जो है वो कोई या तो कोई रिलेशनशिप फैमिली की है, या कहीं स्वार्थ की है, या कहीं राजनीति की है, या कहीं किसी का कोई और कारण है। सुंदरकांड एकमात्र है जहाँ पे केवल एक सेल्फलेस भक्ति और डिवोशनल भक्ति की बात है। और इसीलिए आप देखिए कि न केवल सुंदरकांड का सबसे ज्यादा जिक्र होता है, दुनिया में सबसे ज्यादा मंदिर भी हनुमान जी के हैं। भगवान राम से ज्यादा मंदिर आपको हनुमान जी के मिलेंगे, भगवान राम से ज्यादा जिक्र हनुमान जी का मिलेगा, भगवान राम से ज्यादा भक्त आपको हनुमान जी के मिलेंगे। तो उसका कारण ही यही है कि हनुमान जी के कैरेक्टर से हमको सीखने को बहुत ज्यादा है। मैं समझता हूँ यही कारण है कि सुंदरकांड उनको ज्यादा अट्रैक्ट करती है, ज्यादा प्रभावित करती है बनिस्बत और किसी दूसरे अध्याय के।
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is some of the people have said this. I'm just the reason people read Sundarkand is for the following: to ward off evils, because many times people experience not so great. So to ward off evils, Sundarkand is read. To reduce negativity in human beings, to win over difficult situation, to get over unfortunate situation, and last but not the least, to protect against any disease and disorder and health related. So these are also the reasons why people do read Sundarkand pretty much daily, to ensure that they are well protected and ring fenced from any kind of negativities. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Sir, what you said is right, but this is a faith-based subject.
I agree.
आपका अपना faith के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. So in anything you have faith, that is going to help you out. तो ये मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा कि सुंदरकांड पढ़ना चाहिए, जरूर पढ़ना चाहिए, रोज पढ़ना चाहिए। कहीं से आप इसको एक रिचुअल की तरह पढ़ेंगे तो देयर आर 2 थिंग्स, वन इज बिलीविंग एंड वन इज नोइंग। तो यदि हम बिलीव करते हैं तो रिचुअल की तरह पढ़ते हैं, उसको 100 बार पढ़ लेते हैं, उसका मीनिंग हमें मालूम नहीं होता है, तो उसका कोई मतलब नहीं है। तोते की तरह रटना और पढ़ना उसका जब तक अगर हम उसको पढ़े उसका मतलब समझे तो मतलब है। यहाँ पे एक मैं छोटा सा जिक्र करना चाहूंगा, नानी पालके वाला की एक मैंने बुक पढ़ी थी, उन्होंने बहुत अच्छा लिखा था कि मेरी मदर ने मुझे जीवन में एक बहुत अच्छी बात सिखाई बचपन से कि यू स्टार्ट योर डे विद रीडिंग 2-3 पेजेस ऑफ अ गुड बुक, एंड आई थिंक दैट अप्लाइज टू ऑल ऑफ अस। सो वी स्टार्ट रीडिंग गुड बुक, दैट सुंदरकांड इज वन ऑफ देम, भगवत गीता इज वन ऑफ देम, और एनी अदर गुड बुक, and then we start, then all your questions will get answered. You will get rid of evil, you will get rid of negativity, you will get rid of difficulties in life, you will get opportunities. I mean, so you have to start day with positive ideas and good ideas, and there cannot be a better source of positive ideas and good ideas than Sundarkand and Bhagavad Gita. तो आई थिंक ये तो हमें उसको आप एक और बात बताऊं मैं कि इन दोनों बुक्स के अंदर मैं हमेशा कहीं भी बोलता हूँ तो बताता हूँ कि ये दोनों कहीं से भी रिलीजियस नहीं है। हम इनको रिलीजियस टेक्स्ट मान के इनको हम यूथ में कहीं प्रमोट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। तो एक मेरा मिशन है कि मैं यूथ में स्कूल्स में जाके
I think the way to push this too is basically you have to push this book as spiritual books, not a religious book.
It is not a spiritual book even. It is simply a life science book. हमें कैसा होना चाहिए, हमारा कैरेक्टर कैसा होना चाहिए। आप जहाँ स्पिरिचुअलिटी घुसाएंगे वहाँ यूथ डर जाता है, जहाँ रिलीजन घुसाते हैं वहाँ यूथ डर जाता है। यूथ को कनेक्ट करने का तरीका ये है कि उनको आप बोलिए कि ये लाइफ के अंदर आपको कैसे कंट्रीब्यूट करती है। एंड नोवेयर इन भगवत गीता देयर इज ए नेम ऑफ भगवान। यहाँ पे ये तो फिर भी ठीक है, ये यहाँ पे आपको एक स्टोरी टाइप एक तुलसीदास जी ने उसको रिसाइट किया है या गाया है, लिखा है, लेकिन जब उसको आप पढ़ेंगे तो उसके अंदर से स्टोरी का पार्ट हटा देंगे तो वो पूरा नॉलेज आपको वही दिखाई देगा जो भगवत गीता में दिखाई देता है, रामायण के अंदर की पूरी। तो पॉइंट ये कि आप जब तक इन ग्रंथ को रिलीजियस लीडर्स के कब्जे से बाहर नहीं निकालेंगे तब तक क्या आम आवाम तक पहुंचना मुश्किल है। तो यूथ को पहुंचाना, यूथ को कनेक्ट करने के लिए जरूरी है कि उसको आप रिचुअल से बाहर निकालो। डोंट मेक इट रिचुअलिस्टिक कि भगवान का अगरबत्ती लगाओ, फिर सुंदरकांड का पाठ करो, फिर आपका भला हो जाएगा। ऐसा कुछ नहीं होने वाला है। आप उसको समझोगे तो भला होगा, पढ़ोगे तो कुछ नहीं होने वाला है।
मंत्री जी, मेरा एक दो क्वेश्चन है आपसे।
हाँ सर, बोलिए।
आप तो मार्केट में काफी दिनों से हैं और काफी कुछ कृष्ण, हनुमान, अर्जुन, राम सब मार्केट में भी आपने देखा है।
हाँ।
तो मुझे सिर्फ आप ये अपने एक्सपीरियंस से ये बताइए कि आप मार्केट में ज्यादा हनुमान पाते हैं या ज्यादा आप अर्जुन पाते हैं? पहला क्वेश्चन ये है। दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जैसे सुंदरकांड, बालकांड, किष्किंधा कांड, ये सब काफी होली लगता है, बट आज के डेट में अगर आप
एक पहले वाले का सवाल का जवाब दे दूं मैं, ताकि नहीं तो मुझे सवाल नोट करना पड़ेंगे। एक पहले सवाल का दे देता हूँ। तो आपने कहा कि किसमें जो बाजार में रहते हैं कुछ हनुमान होते हैं, कुछ अर्जुन होते हैं, बराबर है सर? जो लोग ईटीएफ में, म्यूचुअल फंड में पैसा लगाते हैं ना, वो हनुमान टाइप होते हैं।
मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि आपने बाजार में ज्यादा हनुमान देखे हैं कि ज्यादा अर्जुन देखे हैं? मेरा क्वेश्चन
दोनों लोग मिलते हैं ना सर, दोनों मिलते हैं।
ज्यादा आबादी किसकी है?
ज्यादा कम कुछ नहीं होता है इसमें, दोनों तरह के लोग होते हैं। कुछ लोग जो होते हैं पैसिव इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हैं, वो हनुमान जी टाइप होते हैं। अपने म्यूचुअल फंड में, ईटीएफ में पैसा लगाया, आपको अपने फंड पे भरोसा किया, फेथ रखा और चल दिए। ये होते हैं बहुत सारे लोग। और बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं जो सवाल जवाब पूछते हैं, कौन सही करेगा, कैसे होगा, क्या होगा। आप जैसे होते हैं, वो अर्जुन जैसे होते हैं, जो बहुत सारी R&D करते हैं, रिसर्च करते हैं, कन्विंस हो जाते हैं, उसके बाद इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हैं। यू फाइंड बोथ काइंड ऑफ पीपल।
मेरा दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि जैसे रामायण में देखें तो बालकांड, सुंदरकांड, किष्किंधा कांड, ये सारे हैं कांड। बट अगर आज के डेट में अगर कांड वर्ड हम यूज करते हैं तो वो बिल्कुल ही नेगेटिव टर्म में यूज किया जाता है।
सर ये एक बात बताऊं मैं,
इस पे आपका क्या व्यू है? क्यों ऐसा जो है शिफ्ट जो है?
नहीं, मेरा इसमें बहुत सिंपल व्यू है सर। ये अगर आप अवधी भाषा में लिखी गई है, तो अवधी भाषा में कांड का मतलब अध्याय होता है, और हिंदी भाषा में कांड का मतलब कोई स्कीम होता है। तो अलग अलग भाषा में अलग अलग मीनिंग होते हैं। आप किसी भाषा की चीज को कहीं लेके आएंगे तो ये दिक्कत है। इसका कोई मतलब नहीं है, वो उस भाषा में लिखी गई है जिसमें कांड का मतलब अध्याय होता है।
नहीं, मेरा वही था कि लोग जो है वो थोड़ी जानते हैं कि अवधी भाषा की वजह से कांड है और या हिंदी वाला कांड है। कांड तो कांड
नहीं, लोग क्या है, लोगों को जब तक आप उनको सही भाषा में कम्युनिकेट नहीं करेंगे। और एक बात बताऊं जो मैं अक्सर बोलता हूं कि जो लेफ्ट लिबरल्स होते हैं, जिसको हम आज की तरह नया नाम दिया लेफ्ट लिबरल या जो भी बोलते हैं, तो जो इंटेलिजेंट होते हैं, हम देखते हैं इंटेलिजेंट पीपल लुक वेरी नेगेटिव पीपल लुक वेरी इंटेलिजेंट. Those who are doing negative marketing of anything, be about economics, for example, there are many economists who are talking negative. People listen to them. People don't listen to the person who is talking positive. So हमेशा एक बात ये दुनिया में आप कहीं भी देख लीजिएगा, जो नेगेटिव आदमी होता है ना, बहुत इंटेलिजेंट नजर आता है. The person who asks many questions, he seems very intelligent. The person who is simply doing his job, he doesn't look very intelligent.
I think ये तो बेसिक डीएनए ना ह्यूमन का है कि नेगेटिव अट्रैक्ट्स, अपोजिट अट्रैक्ट्स.
So that's what exactly nobody tried to understand. Nobody tried to understand then कि कांड का मतलब जो है अवधी भाषा के अंदर चैप्टर होता है.
हमें भी नहीं पता था, इसीलिए मेरा क्वेश्चन आया, अदरवाइज नहीं आ रहा था.
नहीं, अभी जैसे एक छोटी सी एक बहुत कंट्रोवर्शियल चौपाई, और हमें उसमें जाना भी नहीं एक्चुअली. हमारा विषय ही मैनेजमेंट से जुड़ा हुआ है. रिलीजियस स्क्रिप्चर्स के ऊपर लेक्चर देना और सुनना हमारा विषय ही नहीं है. बट एक चौपाई जो काफी प्रसिद्ध और इसके ऊपर काफी डिबेट होता रहता है, वो ढोर गंवार शूद्र पशु नारी सकल ताड़ना के अधिकारी. इसको लेकर लेफ्ट ट्रिपल आए दिन बोलते रहते हैं कि तुलसीदास जी ने लिखा है कि स्त्री और गंवार और इन सबको तो ताड़ना देना चाहिए. मतलब ये सब दे आर टू बी, I mean, in a very negative sense they have interpreted it. जबकि ऐसा नहीं है. ताड़ना मतलब उनको डांटना, धमकाना, उनका बेइज्जती करना, ऐसा कहीं लिखा हुआ नहीं है. ताड़ने का मतलब होता है देखना. हम बचपन में हमने देखा होगा, कई बार बोलते हैं ना यार मैं आ रहा हूँ जरा ताड़ना, या फिर कोई एक लाइटर वेंड में बोलते हैं वो लड़की को ताड़ रहा था मतलब देख रहा था. तो पॉइंट ये है कि यहाँ तुलसीदास जी ने कहा कि इन चारों की देखभाल करना चाहिए. तो अब वो भाषा अवधि में ताड़ने का मतलब देखना होता है, हिंदी में ताड़ने का मतलब मारना होता है, उसको निग्लेक्ट करना होता है, उसकी बेइज्जती करना होता है. तो किसी भी अर्थ, किसी भी जगह ले जाके हम वो शब्द को यूज करेंगे तो बहुत अलग अर्थ निकल जाता है.
समझ गया.
और दूसरा एक और पंकज जी, इसमें बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग बात ये होती है कि जितने भी स्क्रिप्चर्स लिखे गए हैं उनका देश काल और परिस्थिति, टाइम, इन्वायरमेंट, डिफरेंट. तो जो चीज उस जमाने में जो चीज एप्लीकेबल थी, वो हो सकता है आज काम की नहीं हो. उस समय राम जी की पिताजी ने शायद 2 की थी या 3 की थी, जो भी मल्टी मैरिजेस का प्रावधान था. और डेमोक्रेसी नहीं थी। आज हमें डेमोक्रेसी था। आज जो डेमोक्रेसी के हिसाब से जो चीजें हैं वो अब उन सारी की सारी चीजों को आज आप लागू नहीं कर सकते। और एक और बात है कि जो स्क्रिप्चर जो भी हैं ये हजारों साल पहले किसी ने बोले हैं, फिर किसी ने लिखे हैं। तो मैं आपको छोटी सी बात बोलना चाहूंगा कि साइरस मिस्त्री जी का अभी मान लीजिए एक्सीडेंट हुआ, बराबर, ये 2 महीने पहले घटना है, ज्यादा मेरे ख्याल से 1-2 महीना हुआ। हमें आज तक ये नहीं मालूम है कि एक्सीडेंट क्यों हुआ। जो घटना 1.5 साल पहले की है, 1.5 महीने पहले की है, उसके बारे में भी अलग अलग विचार है। तो जो घटना 2500 साल 5000 साल पहले हुई उसके बारे में क्या सुना, क्या लिखा, किसने सुना, किसने लिखा, देयर आर मेनी चेंजेस इन दैट। So we should focus on what we can learn from it rather than we should enter into a spiritual intellectual debate. That doesn't help anybody.
Correct. Well articulated.
Sir, any other question?
From my end, nothing, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Nothing from me also.
Thank you.
Mantri ji, you had wonderful experiences in solo traveling, both for spiritual development and also for self-discovery. Many would like you to share your experiences in solo traveling and also especially the trip you made this week. We always cover the latest developments and share a few solo traveling and a wonderful screen sharing about some of the journeys.
Hi. सर्दी लग जाएगी। ले गए डॉग है। ले गए? दिख रही है। ये मुंबई से थोड़ी आया है। अरे कल वीडियो कॉल कर ना। मैं मछली को यो फोन। I have reached Kargil War Memorial. Now I will be entering the premises of
Manoj ji, let me share my experience in brief. Thank you very much. पहले तो आपने मुझे solo travel. Let me just first tell you that, of course, in the worldly language, I've traveled solo. But actually speaking, I was not solo. हम लोग 2 थे, एक मैं था और एक मेरा शरीर था. In a very spiritual language, if I tell. So मैं और मेरा शरीर. Now there are 2 entities which travel. Solo कभी होता नहीं है. So when we go solo, we really connect with ourselves and we know that boss हम लोग अकेले नहीं है, 2 है, एक तो हमें और एक हमारा शरीर. तो वहाँ पे एक बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग लर्निंग हुई मेरे लिए. और दूसरी चीज ये है कि यहाँ पे एक बड़ी अच्छी स्पिरिचुअल एक्सपीरियंस हुआ कि जब हम सोलो जाते हैं तो अंदर जो आपका इनर सेल्फ है, which we call inner consciousness or Krishna consciousness or God himself resides in you. When you go, तो आपको लगता है कि आपका इनर सेल्फ आपको लेके गया है, जबकि आउटर सेल्फ को लगता है कि वो इनर सेल्फ को लेके गया है. तो जब मैंने वहां पे हिमालय को बहुत नजदीक से देखा तो एक मिनट के लिए लगा कि जो माय इनर सेल्फ इज वेरी मच पार्ट ऑफ हिमालय, दे नो ईच अदर. तो आउटर सेल्फ वहां हम्बल हो गया, एकदम काफी गिर गया कि ये आई डोंट, मेरी कोई औकात नहीं है. मतलब जो हम जो अपने आप को इतना बड़ा मानते हैं, वी आर नॉट नथिंग. When you go there and you learn that. So this is one learning. The other learning is, आप में जो भी लद्दाख नहीं गया है और जाना चाहता हो, उसके लिए मैं एक वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट मैसेज देना चाहूंगा कि देयर इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट लिंक बिटवीन लाइफ एंड लद्दाख. बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग लिंक है कि लाइफ इज अ जर्नी, यू डोंट फाइंड एनी डेस्टिनेशन इन लाइफ. सिमिलरली लद्दाख इज ऑल्सो अबाउट जर्नी, नॉट अबाउट डेस्टिनेशन. लद्दाख जाएंगे और आप कहीं होटल में ठहर गए तो इट्स वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम. सो यू नीड टू स्टार्ट अर्ली मॉर्निंग एंड टिल इवनिंग यू कीप exploring the mountains. So life is journey, it's not a destination. Similarly, Ladakh is also about journey, not about destination. This is what our relationship I issue. The third thing which I simply I'll show you something and then ask you what it is. Can you see this is what? If anyone can see and tell me what is this?
Looks like a stone.
स्टोन, यस, परफेक्ट। अमित, यहाँ पे ये स्टोन जो है ना, मैं वहां से उठा के लाया हूँ, बराबर है। द इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट इज अमित, till 10th of October 2 o'clock it was Himalaya, it was not stone. The moment I separated it from Himalaya, it became stone. So the message is, if we are part of the whole, then we are whole ourselves, and the moment we separate ourselves from the part, then we are nothing. तो लाइफ में ये है कि हम अगर विराट का हिस्सा है तो हम खुद विराट हैं, और यदि हम अपने आप को बहुत बड़ा मानते हैं और हम विराट का हिस्सा नहीं, तो हम इस स्टोन से ज्यादा कुछ भी नहीं। दिस इज व्हाट आई लर्न। ये स्टोन नहीं था, ये 10 अक्टूबर की दोपहर 2 बजे तक के हिमालय था, दुनिया का सबसे मैग्निफिसेंट पहाड़, और उसके बाद ये केवल स्टोन रह गया।
That's really wonderful. You have brought the Himalayas to us here.
Hello, thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Really wonderful.
One must try solo, irrespective of age and whatever it is. Solo travel always connects you with yourself internally, and you learn a lot from the life of the people, those who are living in those tough areas. You develop a lot of empathy, respect for them, and when you really visit them and find out how armed forces are doing, how they are surviving, what kind of sacrifices they are doing for the country, then you really get humbled. Thank you very much, sir.
That's really wonderful. Solo travels are really great. And Dr. Amit says group travels are also really wonderful. Dr. Amit does a lot of group travels. Dr. Amit, can you share on that and then start the next few sessions? Lots of great sessions planned by you.
Manoj, even I am prefer solo travel, so I have traveled a lot as an individual. So I generally go for a single person track as well for 10 days.
Great.
And companion, my minority of my companion is Mantriji only. So I love his company.
That's really wonderful. And we all know Dr. Amit Jain as a research person and always been traveling, I remember, since decades for deep dive into research, right? Meeting companies, meeting bankers, meeting CFOs. Huh? So solo travel and group travel also for research. That is a process we talked about ancient scriptures. Goddess Saraswati gives us knowledge.
So
Lakshmi gives us wealth.
Manoj, Mantriji just told that you should start your day with reading few pages of a book. So I start a day by reading few reports. My morning first thing is the same thing. I read some reports and then wake up from my bed.
Good thing, a way to start. And if one can start in Brahma Muhurat, 3:30 for AM, 4:30 AM before sunrise is really, really wonderful.
Is it possible in Bombay?
In Mumbai, it is 7 p.m. 7 a.m. is a Brahma Muhurat.
Certainly, Pankaj ji, it is possible. It's a state of discipline how you do it, but it is really possible, and that's the way for excellence.
Manoj, before starting the next presentation, can I share one pic with the group, which will be helpful to everyone? Just I will take 2 minutes.
Go ahead.
1 second. So can you see this?
Yeah.
So this is the seasonal chart of market for last 20 years. And you can see October 9th is a seasonally bottom for the seasonally bottom for last 20 years. So we are into a similar phase right now. So just wanted to highlight this thing, that average seasonal part of equity since 2020. I read it somewhere yesterday evening. So just wanted to share this. So those who are investors can get some insight from this. So just wanted to highlight that October 9th is a seasonally bottom for the last 6 months of the market generally. So can we start with the next presentation?
A wonderful chart. It shows a long-term uptrend.
Yes.
Very clear India growth story.
So just to start with the next presentation, Ravi is with us. Ravi is a very senior person from the industry. He is a CFO in a technology company. He did an excellent presentation last time in the risk management part and investing part. So I would like to hand over the desk to him, the floor to him.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And this is Ravi here. And I will briefly introduce myself once again. My name is Ravi. I have done 2 postgraduate qualifications, and I have got around 32 years of experience, of which 20 years of experience is in capital markets. I worked in companies like JP Morgan to Daiwa to ICICI Securities, to name a few. And since 2013, I'm in corporate. And right now I'm working for a technology company which is into Metaverse by the name of XP Technologies. And I am the CFO of this company for the last 6 months since April 2022. What I'm going
Wonderful,
to talk about,
Ravi. I would also acknowledge the presence here of Mr. Rohit Patoria. Rohit, are you there? Rohit is head planning and control, HDFC Bank. Harish Madaan. Harish?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, Manoj.
Yeah,
hello,
put
Mr.
on your
Ravi.
video. Yeah,
Hi.
Harish is a director, treasury of ICBC, Industrial and Commercial Bank of China. Mr. R. Kannan.
Yeah, I am here.
Yeah, Mr. R. Kannan, rich experience in ICICI Bank and Hinduja Group and in top companies at board level. Lot of interactive discussions on the latest technologies and developments in market by each of the panel speaker. And Pankaj, Prasoon, we have already heard on Sundarkand, would also share his views, deep dive into the latest developments on markets. Pankaj, you are there?
Yeah, I am there.
Yes, yeah. A lot of interactive session and sharing experiences. Yeah, Ravi?
yeah. Okay, before I take you through the slides, I would like you to, I want you to take you through what is Metaverse and how the Metaverse is going to evolve and what are the challenges that the companies from the industry and from the technology service provider are currently going through. So I will take you through that. Introduction to the Metaverse world. Metaverse is currently in an evolving stage. To a great extent, chatting about Metaverse, which is the early stage of evolution, is akin to having a discussion as to how the internet would evolve in the 90s.
Mr. Ravi, we cannot hear you. Mr. Ravi, we cannot hear you.
Okay. Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I will again, because somebody has muted me. So now I've unmuted myself. So, okay, I will again take you through. Thank you very much, Kannan, for bringing to my attention. Introduction to the Metaverse world. Metaverse is currently in an evolving stage. To a great extent, the chatting about Metaverse, which is the early stages of its evolution, is akin to having a discussion as to how the internet would evolve in the 1980s. Right now, the way Metaverse is discussed is like how the internet would evolve in the 80s between technologists and the policymakers. The building blocks for a new form of communication through internet were in the process of being built, but no one could really figure out how it would evolve. Am I right? If you go back and read the technology books of 1980s and 90s, people thought that internet will come and there would be a different mode of communication than what it was a landline. But nobody could exactly figure out how are the many parts are going to move and how it is going to evolve. Though many of the technologies guessed that the internet is going to be the next big thing, but not many had an idea how it will shape, as the biggest constraint to the proliferation of internet was the telecom bandwidth and the processor speed. If you go back in 80s and 90s, internet was there, but the processor speed and the bandwidth was non-existent. When the internet was evolving, there were too many moving parts to sum of parts. Now I fast forward to 2022. Metaverse 2 has many moving parts to its sum of parts. Metaverse is just, it is there, but there are too many moving parts to sum of parts. In simple and lucid term, Metaverse is a three-dimensional online virtual platform For the sake of repeating, Metaverse is an 3-dimensional online virtual platform. Today, you go to any e-commerce website, it is all 2-dimensional. Metaverse will enable the existing 2-dimensional into 3-dimensional, which is likely to connect various users in all aspects of their lives. It is like an online 3D universe that syndicates many dissimilar virtual spaces. Like internet, Metaverse also will connect multiple platforms comprising diverse websites through a single browser. By clicking one browser, you can go into different Metaverse virtual world and transact, view, experience, etc. The Metaverse will allow users to work, meet, study, and socialize together in a 3-dimensional environment. Right now, what we are doing, we 35 participants are in a 2-dimensional environment. We cannot see each other who is sitting next to each other. We cannot see what is the surround of the person who is sitting next to each other. But when we are in a 3-dimensional virtual world through an Oculus device, I can exactly see who is sitting next to me, what is the feel for things. It is just like the way the boardroom is in our office. Am I right? In our boardroom office, we know that who is sitting next to us in the left and who is sitting next to us in the right and who is sitting in front of us and what are they discussing and how the presentations are being made in the boardroom and what are the private views, what are the public views, etc. Right now, those are not there in this 2-dimensional environment of Google Meet or Zoom or for that matter, Microsoft Teams. The Metaverse will allow, though it is a little early to second guess, anything with certainty in technology space, Metaverse is likely to drive the future of the iteration in the internet. I'm sure the Metaverse is going to change the way we transact business, way we interact, and way we communicate. That is for sure. And there are technology that is getting geared up. And the constraint right now is that we don't have much of Oculus device or HTC device or a headgear populated to the extent like the way the mobile is populated. And as a result, the adoption is far slower than it is. But I think once the device population dramatically increases, then I think we will all slip into the Metaverse world where we all can communicate fearlessly and as if in an immersive world and in an emotional situation. Metaverse ecosystem are the various stages of evolution. At present, Metaverse isn't very fully unified, but some of its platform does provide Metaverse lookalike elements. The video games currently provide closest to the Metaverse experience and offer. I think we have seen our sons and daughters playing in the gamified immersion, and there they are actually in a Metaverse world only in the gaming situation where you can actually see how the car is moving in a 3-dimensional way rather than a 2-dimensional way. The developer community has pushed the boundaries of what a game is through by hosting gaming events and creating virtual economies. Am I right? They have an NFT by settlement of their trade, but those are offline and those are non-negotiable at this point of time. Right now, it may not be essential. Probably 5 years down the line, cryptocurrencies can be a great fit into the Metaverse business. Right now, it is not a legal tender, but I'm sure over the next 5 years, you will see those cryptocurrencies becoming a legal tender, and whereby you can go into a Metaverse world, buy an article and settle the transaction through a cryptocurrency or an NFT, and it becomes accepted as an alternative currency to the fiat currency that we're currently into. Some of the blockchain applications are already prevailing and providing the people with livable income, like Axie Infinity, play to earn game that many users play to support their income. Secondly, and Decentraland or other examples of effectively mixing the blockchain world with the virtual reality. These are some of the unskilled examples. I'm not saying it is fully skilled and fully achieved the traction that it deserves, but these are all happening in bits and pieces, like the way internet used to happen in bits and pieces in the 80s and 90s. When we look into the future, the big tech companies are trying to lead the way. However, the decentralized aspects of the blockchain industry are letting many small players to participate in the Metaverse ecosystem development. I can see right now, there are not many people in the Metaverse space. There are hardly 7-8 companies globally which is into the Metaverse space. But for the next 1 year or probably 2 years, with the rollout of 5G across the world and with our laptops and Oculus device having much higher RAM than the current 4 GB RAM, you will see a dramatic shift in the consumer behavior which will lead to acceptance of metaverse as an alternative to the current internet way of functioning. I'm not saying that metaverse is different. Metaverse is residing in internet, but it will lead to much faster way of communicating and far more in an immersive way, like the way we normally communicate when we are face to face in an office environment or in a social environment. There are a few examples I can give, but I will give it a miss right now. What is driving this metaverse adoption? That is very important for all of us to understand. Augmented reality is an evolution of technological progress and processes that combines the real world elements with overlap digital extension. Just to give an example, the real world, you can see a snake resting or sitting on neighbor's car by using AR. Am I right? Today, you have seen many videos in a classroom where a class teacher is teaching how volcano is exploding in an environment in a classroom. Am I right? So that this is an augmented reality. This is not a video. This is not a 2D video which is being played behind the teacher or the professor. It is a real video where the video is being played in front of the teacher so that the students are getting far more gripped and grasped into understanding how the volcano is exploding or how the gravity is functioning, etc., etc. One of the most popular applications of AR technology is Pokemon Go, which lets users to fight against capture of Pokemon that appear in the real world by using the smartphone camera. Another application that is being used in AR is a Google search that let users place 3D objects, thereby allowing the user to gain better idea of the object scale. Some of the real world widely used applications in the AR space, augmented reality space, are being a football game to illustrate plays, giving an idea of what a piece of furniture can look in a living room, bringing in life the historical sites with overlaying views of ancient civilizations. These are some of the examples I'm giving you. Am I right? You can play a football. You can put a furniture in the room to just see how the furniture is fitting into the room. And last but not least, you can actually bring an old civilization look-alike in the real environment so that you can travel in time back. So these are some of the elementary examples I've given you so that you people can relate better to the evolution of metaverse that we are going to experience in the coming years. Any discussion paper on metaverse without covering its application on the real estate would be incomplete. Like in the real world, people are buying and selling properties in the digital world as well by settling via cryptocurrency. While the real estate in the metaverse is considered to be a bit speculative, technologists are of the opinion that metaverse itself will grow massively in the coming years to have its fully owned functioning economy. What people in the technology stack are telling us is that metaverse is going to be an alternative to our planet Earth, where you will have a digital Earth and where people can have an avatar and do what you're doing in the real world, like going for shopping, watching a movie, playing cricket, playing football, going for going for a walk, etc., etc. All can be done in the metaverse, and that would transport ourselves in a completely different world. And like the way internet has revolutionized the world, metaverse is going to further revolutionize the world in the digital space, which will lead to even more improvement of our lives. What metaverse could spell for the future? That is what I want to dwell. Facebook is probably one of the loudest voices for the creation of the unified metaverse. I think it goes without saying. This is being done to boost the crypto-powered metaverse through its dime called stablecoin. I think Facebook has already introduced a currency called dime, and they want to promote dime as an alternative currency to US dollar and other currencies. Many times, Mark Zuckerberg has openly mentioned his plans to use Metaverse project to support a remote work and improve financial opportunities for people in many of the low-income and middle-income economies. Am I right? Say, for example, if there is a talent in some remote part of Africa, and that particular talent is not being able to be paraded across, that is because we don't have the metaverse space. But once we have the metaverse, the technology becomes fungible. Then anywhere, anybody can do anything, right? Am I right? Today, this digital meeting environment of Google Meet or Zoom Meet has enabled people to park in and log in and express their views in an unfettered manner. And metaverse is going to be the next extension of that, whereby people can not only express, but people also can transact. Am I right? So, and more importantly, in a shopping world where you can see any product in only two-dimensional, you can actually view the product in a two-dimensional. Just to give a very elementary example, if you are actually seeing a Titan jewelry, today you are able to see the Titan jewelry in one form. But if you cannot rotate the three-dimensional of it. But if you have three-dimensional environment, you can actually see the jewelry in some three-dimensional form. So the buyer has got a different consumer experience, and as a result, his ability to buy with a more informed information becomes that much more relevant. Facebook's ownership of social media, communication, and crypto platforms gives a head-over-head competition as it combines all these worlds into one. Other large technology companies are targeting the creation of metaverse, which includes Microsoft, Apple, and Google. So all the leading technology companies are creating their own metaverse and metaverse, so that there will be numerous meta cities whereby people can travel and disembark from each city to another city by just logging in and logging out. So it is not that you have to travel from one place to another place. You just need one login ID and a password, so that you can go from one world to another world and experience different world. And it can be a totally different kind of an environment that we can foresee. How is the metaverse right now? In order to fast forward the future, we have to define and describe the present. In some sense, we know the massive multiplayer online, as they are called MNOs, game servers, which are essentially a virtual world with digital concerts, video call facilities, and commerce platforms. Thus, in order to sell these things as a new vision for the world, there has to be some element of newness or novelty value needs to be added. We have given numerous real-world illustrations, and the trend can only accentuate and accelerate going forward. Combined with the general pop culture idea of holograms and head-up displays, the stories that serve an imaginative reference point is that the metaverse tech company would actually sell something new that could like. The metaverse is now becoming a reality, and there's a huge business opportunity for many companies in this space. Metaverse has made its way into different aspects of our daily lives, from games to movies to real-world applications for navigation to education to entertainment. While metaverse can be hard to define as it is still in a nascent early stages of development, what the technologists are indicating is that it has got a big scope and big potential. Now the question is that what the metaverse have in store for us in the coming years and decade. Some of us frequently ask questions are as follows, and same can be addressed. I'm trying to address whatever is possible. What are the features that the users can expect from the metaverse? For the user, it is a virtual world that can be explored and experienced through different devices like computers, smartphones, Oculus devices, which is a wearable device. It is an immersive virtual world where the user is free to interact with other people and by using the digital human lookalikes. This means it is available any number of times the user wants to visit and gives the user the freedom to make necessary changes to it. Most sought after question how the crypto will fit into the metaverse. Gaming providers uses the 3D aspect of the metaverse, but doesn't cover the whole thing that is needed in the virtual world. Which crypto can offer the other key parts required, like digital proof of ownership, transfer of value, and access, and even purchase virtual items in the metaverse. We need a secure way of showing ownership. We also need to feel safe transferring these items and money around the metaverse. Finally, we would like to play a role in the decision-making process in the metaverse, which is enabled to integral to our lives. Many of the video games does contain basic solutions, but many developers use crypto as a better option. But right now, the crypto is not an accepted currency because no government has approved it as a legal tender. Till such time, we will see volatility in the Bitcoin market, and that is not good for anybody in the current situation. It is important to keep all this in context and the evolving situations in the world. While it is tempting and attractive to compare the prototype metaverse idea that we do today, it is the early internet stage and assume everything would get it better and progress in a linear way. But that is not given. There are no guarantee that people will eventually want to hang out in Sans Lex in virtual office or play poker with the DreamWorks, much less the VR AR tech, which will become seamless enough to be as common as smartphones or computers as of today. It may even be the case that any real metaverse would be like just more than cool VR games and digital avatars in Zoom calls, but mostly just coming, we still think of the internet. Blockchain and metaverse are intertwined. That I want to address because that is a topic I think most people are interested. What is that digital proof of some of the key aspects of blockchain that are suited to the metaverse are as follows. Digital proof of ownership, By owning a wallet with access to your private keys, the user can prove the ownership of the activity or an asset to the blockchain. For example, the users can show how to transcript of the user's transactions record on the blockchain to show the accountability. Transfer of value is another important factor. Easy accessibility to ownership is another important factor. Governance is a must. Again, is an important factor. Right now, the governance mechanisms are not very much there. And last but not the least, interoperability between the various compatibility. Am I right? If there are multiple metaverses, there has to be interoperability advantage available. Right now, that is not available as much as it should. But I'm sure over the next 2 years with the evolution, all these features will get integrated and it will become like another ERP, CRM, SEM that was introduced in the 2000. Am I right? When the ERP was first introduced, we were introduced it in modules. And later, we integrated into ERP, CRM, and SEM to have an whole organization being integrated the rest of the rest of the economy as well as the rest of the competition. So what does it mean for creative professionals? It will be difficult to be exactly specific as to where the technology is heading, hard to predict. Internet didn't replace anything totally, so the physical book is still available. So the metaverse will still continue to ensure that all the old items are very much available, but people who want to do transaction in the metaverse world can do a transaction in an immersive and interaction world. Some of the challenges that we may encounter, the idea of all this natural rivalry is going to disappear and seems fanciful and imaginary. Even if companies in the metaverse decide to cooperate and collaborate, there is no guarantee or assurance that the governments will let them function in an unfettered way. Governments around the world are now playing with the catch-up and with the unforeseen dangers of the web and social media in a process that looks very much like trying to put the genie back in the box. Just to think back, 10 years back when the TV and the movie industry thought the 3D would be way forward, every home had a 3D TV and families could watch 3D content through specialized polarized slide glasses. It would be normal to walk into a bar, put on the same glasses and watch live sports together in 3D. It was an enticing vision, but it never took off in a big way because people simply did not like wearing cumbersome glasses when they don't need to. So here, in the case of Metaverse 2, we need to keep in mind, if in a virtual world, we need to wear the Oculus device, and many people may find it difficult to wear the Oculus device to experience the virtual world because people may feel the motion sickness. So in order to understand that Metaverse, we also need to understand that we need to evolve from the real world to virtual world by wearing the Oculus device to hasten the whole process. But for people in the age group of say 45 and above, they will be having reservations because they may suffer from motion sickness, and that can be a little bit of a difficulty for adoption. But I'm sure that metaverse adoption or the virtual adoption is going to happen between Gen Z and the Gen Millennials, because people in the age group of 20 to 35 now will easily adopt, and they are going to drive this adoption faster. So there is going to be a target market, and that target market will drive the growth in the industry, and the companies in the sector are likely to benefit. But people who adopt are definitely not going to be the ones who are in the age group between 45 and above. It has to be between 20 and 45 at this point of time. That is what I can sense. If the Oculus device become more friendly, then definitely the age group above 40 can also use it, because people have bifocal lens and aspects, eye-related problem also can use those. And for that, the technology has to evolve. And probably my guess is that it is good 2 to 3 years away. So my closing thoughts on the metaverse is that while a single united metaverse is likely to be a long way off, we can clearly visualize and witness there are many metaverse companies enabling various companies in different verticals to metaverse enabled. In the interim, we can already experience metaverse like projects would continue to integrate the payment mechanism through blockchain in order to integrate blockchain into our day-to-day lives. Whether metaverse will have its own currency, unified digital currency, or a plethora of digital currencies depends on how various central banks across the world are going to view the non-fungible tokens. In the meantime, we could see the G20 countries coming out with their own digital currency, and that is what RBI is currently doing, and that is what Bank of England is currently looking into, which is equivalent to a fiat currency. There are various possibilities and permutations and combinations that are being thought through. Hence, the jury is out how the settlement mechanism is likely to evolve. So this is what I would say, a sum and substance of how the metaverse universe is going to evolve, and how it will sort of change in the coming years. And I've given you the current status. I've given you what are the features and how it will evolve. Now I'm going to what I would say, share the presentation which I've already given to Manoj, and how it can be of useful. See, it can be applicable in automotive industry, where you can create a digital showroom. You can view the different vehicles differently, and it can do a customization of each product, because in the metaverse world, you can do a customization by telling the dealer to make some tailor make changes. And we can have a far more, what I would say, tailor-made vehicles coming out in the metaverse world once, instead of an one-stop manufacturing that we are currently experiencing from all the automobile manufacturers. It is going to impact the retail. Now you can have in retail, you can have just a second. You can decorate your life in realistic and attractive environment that can immensely enhance the visual presentation of your design project, which is more vividly in the screenshots and videos. In the food retail, introducing augmented reality in the food industry to give customers an immersive experience, increase the curiosity levels, and help make better food decisions. It gives a patron a clear view of the menu item, size, texture, presentation, and ingredients. Fashion and retail industry, you can even shop from the comfort of your home, roam around your favorite showroom in just the way you used to roam before the pandemic, but there's no time to need to spend any time on traveling. On the real estate, the immersive visual experience feels realistic and lifelike. Am I right? You don't have to go to a real estate site and actually go through the sample flat. You can actually just sit at your home, go through the video, experience the length and breadth of each room, and get a feel for things, how the room will look like, rather than going to the sample flat. Only when you are satisfied with the video, you can probably go and see a sample flat. One, you have made up your mind. In the energy world, virtual reality technology can help the energy sector to deliver workforce training in immersive environment. Employees can now train effectively and efficiently how to manage and respond in any situation. Say, for example, in the windmills. Am I right? In the windmills, we have to change the gearboxes. Now, the training of employees are becoming a huge challenge for many companies. Now, you can, for training, for a proper training, you require 140 hours. Now, this kind of training through VR app can be done in less than 10 hours. Am I right? And you can watch it repetitively. So the force multiplier of using VR to train electrician, the plumber, the turner, the fitter can dramatically increase. And that is what these VR apps are going to increase. In a realistic VR simulation of CNC machine developed, teach industrial technician the fundamentals of operating and maintaining the CNC machinery. The VR scenario of machine coordinate setting up has provided risk-free and an engaging developing practical skills. Am I right? If you have to train somebody in a real world, if something goes wrong, it can be lead to an industrial accident. But in a simulated environment, you don't have to feel you can make as many number of mistakes while training the worker, or while the worker is learning on the job, so that all the mistakes that happen doesn't become an industrial accident. He can easily do it and learn it on the job. And the use of VR learning purpose can give organization the ability to create scenarios in which employees can safely make mistakes and learn from their action in a very effective method of learning. This method can prove to be more efficient and can be effective in the long run of the who are supply mechanical and industrial engineering, safety in industrial engineering. Our safety training module is centered around training the users in an environment where they can learn and perform all the safety steps needed to be done in any fire-like situation. Am I right? For a fire department, how to handle a fire situation can be trained in a simulated environment, and we can create as many number of simulation. Say, for example, if a building is caught on fire, you can create how the fire has originated and how the fire can be fought, etc. in a simulated environment, like the way a pilot is taught today how to fly in a simulated environment. So the simulation that we get for the training the pilots can be extended to all walks of life once the VR application devices are fully developed and once the VR apps are, what I would say, are actually deployed. Now, every company is trying to develop the app, but they need to understand the logic that goes behind it and the functional logic of doing it. Am I right? You may have the technology to develop it. Horizontal knowledge might be there, but the vertical knowledge is not there right now. So I think all the companies, I think there are very few companies, there are only probably 7 companies globally, and all these companies are currently learning both the horizontal part of it and the vertical part of it to ensure there are as many more applications available which can be downloaded in the Oculus device to experience, which can lead to a dramatic force multiplier number of people. Whether you are a teacher-student relationship, whether you are a parent-teacher relationship, or a banker and a customer relationship, in every relationship you can do it in the metaverse world, where you can feel as if you are sitting next to each other and having a very friendly interaction. So we are WowXP is building India's first metaverse city, where everything is virtual, where our digital and physical lives converge, and imagination is limitless. A constructive metaverse that allows the business and the entertainment industry to have a wider experience and audience. So we are creating this environment and ecosystem, and I'm sure over the next 2 to 3 years there will be lot many companies and lot many technology companies, both India and abroad, will create a metaverse ecosystem which will replace the current two-dimensional 2D internet to a 3D internet, which is called Web 2 to Web 3, and in that you will have 3D videos rather than 2D videos. With that, I conclude, and now I'm more than happy to take any questions that you may have. Amit?
Hi Ravi, just one question. Can you help us with the companies which are advanced in India in the metaverse technology?
In India, there are not at all any company. There is only my company is the only company that is into metaverse. Okay, and the name of the company is WowXP Technologies. I cannot recall any company doing it, because it requires, for this kind of companies, the people need a lot of AI and ML knowledge. Am I right? In India, we don't have much of AI and ML knowledge at all. Okay, it requires a lot of artificial intelligence and machine learning, and those kind of engineers are not available. So even if it is available, you need to have a lot of training to be given to prepare them to develop application and create avatars, etc. So in India, there are not many, but globally, I can tell you there are very few. I think that there are 2 companies which are in advanced stage of doing something similar to what we are doing. One is called Glue, GLUE, and other is Spatial. So these are the 2 companies which I can say with some confidence and comfort that they are in an advanced stage of creating metaverse. Other than that, all the leading companies like Google to Facebook and Microsoft are developing the one. But from a smaller company's point of view, these are the 3 which are developing metaverse independently, and they are actually providing the companies like Unilever to Tata to migrate from Web 2 to Web 3. Am I right? The transition is small, so they have to do it in piecemeal. So there are 3-dimensional revenue. One is the services and solution revenues, where you migrate from Web 2 to Web 3. Then you have got SaaS-based revenue, where you upload the unknown singer, the unknown painter, the unknown, shopping malls, etc., into the digital space, create a brand which none exists, and then you create attraction for the people. Am I right? In the digital world, what is very important is attraction and trending. So unless and until a small singer in, say, West Bengal can suddenly become a rock star if there is a lot of traction and trending in the digital world. So that is what this metaverse will eventually do, which will throw up many people, and they can create a market for themselves. And the last but not the level, the device-based revenue, where you have a device, and in the device you download the app, and you are charged around, say, $50 per hour, per day, per user per month kind of a price. But right now it is in a very nascent stage. It is a complicated model right now, because I have done IT industry in 1992. So it has got so many moving parts. To some of parts I know. People were not able to understand the difference between onshore and offshore in 1992. So eventually, it took them some time to understand how much is offshore, what is. They used to think that why the companies are migrating from onshore to offshore. I used to tell them that in offshore the margins are more, whereas in onsite the revenues are high. Am I right? So the people have to understand the various dynamics of the market. Nevertheless, I think Metaverse is going to be staying. It is just like the internet, what it was in 80s and 90s. And I'm sure in the next 5 years, you will see a dramatic spike in the usage of Metaverse and how we transport and teleport ourselves into Metaverse. Because just to give a simple example, Pay ATM was there in 2016 and 17. Am I right? But the Pay ATM transaction spiked only after the demonetization happened. Am I right? It required an event to do that. So similarly, we will see companies migrating lock, stock, and barrel from Web 2 to Web 3. Right now, they are not doing it because of budgetary constraint, because of technological glitches, because of server constraint, because of and people are not willing to give away the browser format. Am I right? Suppose if you have to wear an Oculus device and function, people are not comfortable, but people are more comfortable in clicking the browser and going into and navigating into a particular video and watching it. So that we need to change the consumer behavior and the pattern of the behavior right now. So the whole industry is investing in changing the consumer behavior. So like the way the landline was in force till 94, but it took more than 10 years for the companies to help adopt the mobile technology and start communicating. So similarly, we will see that. My sense is that once the Oculus device prices fall from an average of 35,000 to around less than the 15,000, you will see a dramatic spike in the Oculus device consumption. So that is where it is.
So in one sentence, can we say that in next 10 years, the Metaverse will be the industry
No brainer. I think I have spoken to people in Goldman Sachs and I spoken to people in JP Morgan, and they believe that this industry, Metaverse industry, by 2000, what I would say, would be in the next 5 to 10 years, it should be an $8 trillion economy itself. 8 trillion, not 8 billion. 8 trillion.
Yes, I understand. Thanks,
so
sir.
they accepted that it is going to happen, but the tipping point and the cusp, I'm not able to show.
So recently we have heard that people were buying lands in the Metaverse or something. So how does that help?
No, what happens is that right now you and me are actually watching in the on a face-to-face, but we don't know. It is not neither emotional nor immersive. Am I right? But when you wear the Oculus device, it will be immersive and emotional, right the way when we are sitting in the boardroom. Like in the office room, when we sit next to each other, there is a certain amount of vibe. There is a certain amount of emotional connectivity. There is a certain amount of immersiveness. That is currently missing. Am I right? There are right now 28 people sitting in our conference right now. But we cannot see 28 people in that room. Am I right? But we can actually do 1,000 people AGM in the virtual world. And the company secretary will know exactly who is sitting where in the virtual world by actually wearing that device. So we are creating a parallel virtual world where you can actually conduct AGM, where you can conduct seminar, where you can conduct a conference, where you can have a social gathering, and you can do shopping. Your friend can be in US, you be in India, and another friend might be in Japan. All of us can actually go to the same shop and shop and chit chat together in the virtual world.
Thanks, Ravi.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, Mr. Ravi, this is Harish. There is one question that because firstly, thank you very much for your thoughts on this metaverse. I think it's very interesting and new things which has come up. Just want to understand. In fact, last week also I have talked about something as digital currency. So how can we embed and integrate further this metaverse and how do we work over there? Because blockchain that we have discussed, this is somewhere is also these are prevalent, but how this is this entire in this structure?
No, I think what people initially thought that cryptocurrency or NFT and blockchain and metaverse are all the same. Am I right? But that is where I would rather compartmentalize it. Metaverse is nothing but you're creating a 3D world from a 2D internet world. Am I right? Right now, everything is in internet, the entire internet in 2D. We are migrating the internet 2D into an internet 3D. Am I right? Where the screen itself can rotate, where you can exactly you can see everybody there in a 180-degree view or a 360-degree view. Right now, everything is a flat screen. So that is one. Second, when you are buying any product, say for example, if you are buying a Lexus car, am I right? Or for that matter, Mercedes Benz, you have to go to the showroom to experience the car. But in the 3D world, you can exactly see everything in the car by rotating the car, and actually you walking into the car and seeing and sitting in the car and seeing what is the upholstery, what is the fog light, what is the boot space. What even apart from driving the car, you can exactly see what you're going to do, like the way you go to the showroom. Am I right? Say, for example, if your wife wants to buy a jewelry, today she can see the jewelry on 2-dimensional, but in the virtual world, she can see the earring in a 3-dimensional world. Am I right? She can see every component of the jewelry, the smallest of the smallest to the largest one, in a 3D where you can see every component. So it gives a 360-degree view of the product. That is currently missing. Say, for example, if you want to buy even a shampoo, a shampoo bottle that is displayed on the digital shelf is only showing the name of the product and what it achieves, but we don't know what are the components of it. Am I right? So the component cannot be blown up. There you can rotate the shampoo bottle, see what are the components there, what is the price, everything can be seen there. Today it is only displayed on the digital shelf. Only in the physical shelf you can take it from the shelf and see, like when you go to D-Mart or some other showroom. Smart. So that what you do in D-Mart by taking from the shelf and seeing it and reading it can be done in the virtual world of Metaverse when you do a shopping like that. So, whereas coming to the second part, the payment mechanism is difficult because no government is allowing the NFT. Am I right? So what is going to happen is that eventually, this is my reading, because I've written reports on Metaverse as well as another thing. My reading is that you can view the product in the Metaverse, and then you will have to settle the merchandise through an e-com transaction. Am I right? So what you will do, you will go and say, look at the gold jewelry in a Titan, and then you will go to the e-com website and then pay through either internet banking or through credit card.
Okay. Okay. No, got it. So one more thing, just so how far do you think this would be implemented or reality? Because this would have a replication across where small shops which are around, they would be just move away. And what kind of disruption that technology would create?
Can you just put your video on? That will be nice for everybody.
Yeah, sure. So just 1 minute, Manoj. Just 1 minute. Because I was driving, so that is why I just put my video off. Just 1 minute. I'll just, Mr. Ravi. So just because, as you mentioned, this is like quite disruptive in the way that life is conducted across. Now, what we do is we go shop around and have a practical experience, look at the thing, and then we buy. Now this metaverse would create an experience which is virtual and would give us as close experience as the real one. So does it mean that it means that the present structure which is there across, so that will be wiped out and as it's more implemented, and then the new structures which will come, which will be more dominated by the organized large players. So what is your comment on this? How this will be evolved and how it will be taken at a ground level where the people where at a very grassroots level, rather at a high end understand, because that would where they would put a lot of infrastructure and everything. But how gonna it impact overall?
My sense is that organized retail has not killed Kirana Dukanwala. Am I right? The fear was that organized retail will kill the Kirana Dukanwala, and my thesis in 1995 was that Kirana Dukanwala will continue to exist and organized retail will continue to exist. Am I right? Now, the price efficiency and the quality efficiency that people want got in DMart or in Big Basket, etc., etc. Whereas the Kirana Dukanwala was selling a small sachet of shampoo in a remote village will continue to do what he wants, what he has been doing. So what is going to happen is that the one third of the industry will go into the modern retail or the metaverse, etc. Who can afford to migrate the technology, and people who are not in a position to do it will not be able to do it. However, what has happened in the process is that technology has been a big facilitator for growth. Am I right? I can give you a simple example. Today, a small husband-wife can sell what I would say a churidar cloth, a churidar dress, through the Amazon or through Flipkart or whatever it is, which was not possible in the past. So what has happened is that the small articles that are being sold are now being sold through the internet. So what has happened is that the internet reach has ensured that even a smaller articles are now getting sold, and as a result, there is a market and a price. So it is not that a new technology is going to change anything. It is going to only improve and further spread the. A lady in Rajasthan is selling a bangle to some person in Bangalore. What I'm trying to tell you is that which is not possible before. So the sudden increase in the reach because of technology has ensured that more people are employed and more people are gainfully employed now. That is my sense. Technology has never been technology has never been a killer of business. It actually multiplies.
No, I agree with you. That is always facilitate, but then the business would be skewed toward more organized players rather than the unorganized, and how the
no. That is what I'm trying to say. Am I right? The organized market will also grow, and the unorganized market also will grow. Am I right? A lady was making Nataraja statue in Madras. If you are selling say 20 statues a week before the internet revolution or before the Amazon, it was uploaded to the Amazon website. Today, the same lady is selling more than 200 Nataraja statues because in Amazon you go there and click it and it is getting dispatched across India. Am I right? So what I'm trying to tell you is that if you're able to upload your product in a digital environment, you will have that many number of people viewing it and that many number of people buying it. So digital world is unlimited. Am I right? And a person who is sitting in Africa can never going to come to India and buy it. But if he likes the product, he can buy from India. So my sense is that the market is only going to continually expand, and that is what is going to drive it. So if the metaverse market is going to be say $8 trillion, I am sure that there are going to be new players, new products, new services, and that is going to only expand the product range, and it's going to expand the geographical reach, and more important, is going to bring new customers into the fold, which was hitherto missing in the past.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ravi,
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Ravi, a couple of questions from the chat. Mahendra Jaju is asking, will Metaverse have a real 3D streaming or pre-created content only like present VR?
Yeah, but for the moment, Mr. Mahendra Jaju is right. Currently, it is pre-recorded beaming is happening. But I think like the way we are currently doing, am I right? A live will come. And for that live to come, we need, what I would say, the government to facilitate the whole thing. So right now, the government facilitation has not happened to the extent that is desirable. But I'm sure in the years to come, the government will facilitate a metaverse universe where people can walk into a metaverse city through a login, interact and chat and shop, etc., etc.
Manisha has asked, it seems like it will reduce the need to travel as well as need to have a commercial space. So any initial disruptions you sense out of this?
Well, I think eventually what Manisha is saying is true, because there would be, all these technologies are leading to reduction in the commercial space. That is for sure. Am I right? And it will also, I'm going to add one more thing, whether you like it or not, it will also lead to moonlighting as well.
Any disruptions on the travel side, tourism side?
Right now, nothing. Right now, it is nothing. Right now, I think people who want to travel for vacation will continue to travel for vacation. Am I right? People who want to go to Greece, people who want to go to Turkey, people who want to go to any other exotic location, they will continue to do what they want to do. But people who want to frequently travel, say, previously, if I was going to Pune, say, 2 times in a fortnight, I will not go that. Am I right? I can do that through my digital Oculus device. Am I right? I can teleport myself into that office environment, and I can interact and transact the way I can do the barring signing the legal document. I don't have to go to office at all.
So entertainment related travels will continue, but office related travels,
Exactly.
Yeah, it will come down.
Exactly.
Any other questions, anyone?
Yeah, Rohit here. Hello.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Raviji, very nice insights. There are few things I have in mind. Just want to ask you. So 5G, what do you think contribution of 5G in Metaverse, specifically in Indian domain, the way 5G is coming? So unless and until the technology really shapes it and we are able to, because everybody talks a lot about 5G, but unless and until it reaches the last mile.
I clearly stated in my first paragraph itself that growth of Metaverse the growth of Metaverse can only happen if there is a 5G environment and we are in a 12 GB RAM. Am I right?
Right.
In the 3D video has got a high latency. Am I right? A 2D video can go like this. It can go like very fast, whereas a 3D video go like this. So the latency is very slow because we are in a 4G environment. So to have a 3D environment video, we need a 5G environment. Am I right? So 5G is integral to the growth of Metaverse. So globally also 5G is not being rolled out across the world to the extent like the way the 4G or 3G was rolled out. So to that extent, Metaverse has been stymied because of 5G. You're absolutely right. Point number 1. Point number 2 is that we also need to expand the RAM in all the devices, whether it is an Oculus or whether you're in a laptop. If you download a 3D video in your laptop, it will not download in the 4G environment. It will take long time. But if you're watching a YouTube video, it will happen as if it's a flash because the latency is very high. So both the things have to happen, and I'm sure 5G is getting rolled out by March. Am I right? Already it's been rolled out by last week, but the eventual impact of people buying the SIM card or people migrating from 4G to 5G will not happen before March because our mobile phones are not being geared. Am I right? There is a patch software that needs to go into, which has to come from the telecom operators. Am I right? So that has to happen by March. And then only you can teleport yourself into a 5G environment as far as mobile is concerned. But to have a virtual world, the real virtual world of Oculus device, that also you need a 5G environment. And I think my sense is that between now and March, the 5G will get rolled out in bits and pieces. And along with that, there will be an upgrades to our laptops, devices, and mobiles in terms of RAM. And once both these coincide, you will see explosion of Metaverse. Right now, hardware is a huge issue, and spectrum is a bigger issue.
If you might have read, now people have started speaking about true 5G, a true 5G, because unless and until we have a true 5G, so that itself is because unless and until we deliver it really properly, otherwise technology may be there, as you very rightly said, it's not just, it has to be in the equipment also, where you should have a proper RAM, you should have all.
There is no point in saying I have got a 5G in my laptop, but if my RAM is a 4 GB or 6 GB, then you will not enjoy the video or the audio of the conversation. Right? You will have like this. You will be constantly moving up and down because the latency of the 3D video is very high. Like the way, if you recall, 10 years back when you are downloading a video, it used to take a long time. Am I right? Now, because of 4G, you are able to see the video in a flash. So similarly, to see the 3D video in a flash, you need a 5G SIM in your mobile or in your laptop or whatever it is.
True. Raviji, one more question very quickly. you are also in a finance domain, you are a CFO. So basically, the investment, unless and until, that's a very important point, be it metaverse or any technology, unless and until the business is really aware what they need, because you have to choose. If you don't choose it rightly, it always, instead of becoming cost effective, it becomes a really costly burden. So you should be very clear what you need, and you should be able to really articulate it, what is required, whether we need X and we should not take X plus Y plus Z when we can do only with X.
No,
So
no.
your thoughts on that?
Rohit ji, what we are trying to sell with the customer, okay. The customers, we don't want to sell anything, any of the software or the device on a bulk basis. Am I right? What are we trying to tell them? We are telling them on a SaaS basis. Pay as you go. We are not telling them to buy a 2 crore software and load it in your server and use. It's not like a SAP. What are you telling? Say if there are 200 users of the Oculus device, then what you say is that the app is going to cost you only 3,500 rupees and the device is going to cost you only 4,500 rupees because we will buy it from Taiwan. So it is going to cost you only 4,000 rupees per user per month. So what if you want to discontinue, the cost of discontinue is like 4,000 times 10. So 40,000 is your cost per month. So if you are investing for 10 months and if you think that this product is not giving the desired effect, the investment is only limited or the expenditure is only limited to 4 lakh rupees or whatever. But if you would have bought a SAP, you have to pay 2 crore or 3 crore upfront plus the integration. Another one, probably 60-70 lakhs will go for that. So it is not a software that is going to idle in your balance sheet, which could be written off because of redundancy or non-usage. Here, the usage is like you're driving, you're entering into a taxi car. Am I right? It's like getting into Ola. The distance traveled is what you're going to pay for. Nothing more, nothing less. Similarly, usage, multiply by usage is your cost you're paying every month. So the metaverse model itself is not a fixed model. It is a pay-as-you-go model. That's it.
Yeah, I agree with that. So only thing I was trying to highlight is at times OPEX versus CAPEX becomes very difficult because you end up paying so much OPEX where you don't. This is because I was
just a second. Go ahead.
No, I was saying I was reading an industry report which was saying these SaaS pricing, the way we investment goes, specifically in the regulated industries, where you should have your own private cloud, you should do, so investment is at times more than what you might have done. So that is because
Just allow me to complete. Just I'll take this call. I'm in a call. I will call you later. Bolo. Sorry.
No, Raviji, wanted very quick thought on this because what you're saying is perfectly right, but to a thoughtful investment so that at times like cloud also end up paying much higher amount than what is estimated, and at times it's like not fully digital, it's like phygital. So I was just reading an interesting report. So your thought on that?
I'll tell you that.
It's the other side also.
See, when I say it is say 4,000 rupees per user per month, that includes the cloud cost. Am I right? For me, for every 1 rupee that I earn, my cloud cost accounts for around 30-32%. So the cloud cost, I'm only hosting the app. So you're downloading the app on the Oculus device, and you're only paying for the services that you're using. It is just like when you're entering into a taxi, you're only paying for the distance traveled or the hours consumed. So similarly, the hosting cost is on me. You can discontinue it whenever you want to discontinue. For me, the hosting cost accounts for around 30% of my total revenue. And that is on the higher side. I'm sure that if Adani comes in, am I right? And Adani has got big plans to do hosting, and if that happens, I think there is going to be a tremendous reduction. Right now, everything is being taken over by Google. Am I right? Google is the biggest hoster. along with Amazon. And Amazon is the largest. Amazon Web Services is the largest.
Amazon is the largest.
Amazon is the largest. So we are paying to Amazon, but I'm sure with Adani coming and others coming in the near future, I think the web hosting space itself, we see a lot of price reduction happening. And once that happens, I think we can even pass on that price reduction to the customer. And as a result, there can be more number of subscribers coming into that actually.
Right.
No doubt. The point that you have raised is very valid. Web hosting cost is the highest cost that I can sense. And that is actually hurting the margins. And that is what is actually keeping the price much higher than the required. So Amazon is making more money in web hosting than they're actually doing in transaction.
Correct.
One second. 2 मिनट में फोन करता हूँ 2 मिनट फोन करता हूँ Sorry, Rohit.
Yeah, no. Interesting connotation. That is what I was just sounding. I was reading a very interesting report, which is saying why digital penetration it should have been to MSMEs and SMEs is not at that level, which could have been. So slowly, because it's actually required. So it necessity because.
You're on mute.
Am I audible?
Now you're audible.
No, I was saying currently the movement is only based on necessity, not just.
No, I think, and by the way, this is nothing to MSME across the board. I am speaking to Tata Sons. I am speaking to Unilever. There also, it's all need based only. It is not that they're investing ahead of that time. Everywhere it is same like that because they already have close to $500 billion worth of software residing in the server, and those are giving suboptimal return. Am I right? It is only when they realize that the returns on this is, say for example, if Unilever wants to create a virtual showroom of their high-end product, that is when they look for Metaverse. Or for that matter, Mahindra & Mahindra wants to create a virtual showroom of all their high-end products. Am I right? Say for example, their SUVs, etc. So what happens is that these virtual showrooms can actually replace their physical showroom in a big way. Say for example, if I want to buy X tractor, I can go into the virtual showroom, click on the tractor, exactly see the tractor functionality, the look, feel, touch, fit and finish, and then take it forward.
Right. Interesting.
But I think the challenge for us is to get the Oculus device be bought. I think that is availability itself is a challenge because of the semiconductor challenges. And I think if you cross over the semiconductor challenges, then the Oculus device population to be dramatically increased. So there are 2 layers to it, but I'm sure that in the next 1 year we can cross. So I'm basically investing in a company that is going to change the landscape of the Indian technology or probably the global technology.
Okay.
So I'm more as an evangelist rather than a CFO.
Oh.
Which company is this?
This is
Pankaj.
WXP Technologies.
Which?
WOWEXP. WXP Technologies. I will do one thing. I will email it to Amit Jain, and he. I think I've already emailed it to Manoj ji, and he has it. You can take it from me.
Okay.
Any questions from anyone? I'm more than happy to take it. I hope I was not boring.
It was very interesting. It's a new topic.
No, it's quite interesting. Yeah.
Because I thought through this for 2 days, and I had my own doubt whether I will be able to communicate effectively, because this is not a subject which has been random spoken every day. It is a subject that is not there in public domain, or it is not heatedly debated in the WhatsApp, social media, whatever.
No, Mr. Ravi, this is in fact fantastic presentation and your perspective.
we understand these are all evolving subjects,
Exactly.
and there is
exactly.
nothing is definite that we are, but it is giving the understanding of the concept and also how it is going to change. And as you said, the things would evolve, upgrade, or would evolve and move toward the virtual experience, which would be closer to the real experience.
Exactly right. You hit the nail on the head.
So fantastic, and in fact, thank you very much for your perspective. And earlier, I would not be aware about the metaverse, but now at least if somebody is talking and I have understanding, this is something is really grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Just I want to mention here that my son is now around 18-year-old. So he is also working on the blockchain and metaverse and all.
those generations will freak out. Those generations will freak out. हम बुड्ढे लोग काम का नहीं है, but वो लोग एकदम शाने लोग हैं.
He has got almost 1.5 lakh follower on Twitter for this machine learning and AI. So hopefully he will do great after listening to you. So it looks like that.
I'm very confident. I'm very confident of this. My son and this generation between 20 and 30. They are very smart. They are super smart. They learn very fast on the fly, and they can adjust very fast.
So with the permission of Manojji, I will take your number from Manojji and I will connect
you can
my
write it
son
down.
with you.
You can write it down right away. 98200 19813.
1 minute, sir. 98200
19813.
Thank you, Ravi ji.
Pleasure talking to you. Kannan ji, any question from you?
No. I think your company is doing a good work. And this metaverse, actually all IT companies have created a new division.
You're right.
To address the metaverse opportunities. Market. And people are feeling that in the next 5 years, the adoption of metaverse across the world
You're absolutely right.
Will increase. So right now, of course, you are doing in a small way, but I think you are going to get a lot of big competitors who will compete with you.
I completely agree with you. But one thing is very clear. A smaller company is far more nimble than a larger company. I have seen how Meta is struggling, even though they have the money power of $10 billion. That I've noticed. They have the money of $10 billion, and you know Facebook is the parent of Meta, and yet they are not able to nimbly move forward in the metaverse space.
Yeah, but there are, of course, a lot of limitations of this concept, where it provides lots of advantages. We also hear that there could be a lot of disadvantages also of this concept. So I don't know. So that will be, like you said, 5G is one. When it comes, that will make it adoption easier. And apart from that, today, as we are aware, people talked about Industry 4.0, where a lot of emphasis on machines was there. Now, slowly people are realizing that it is not good to give more powers to machines, especially if you talk about artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics and all. So now there is a concept of Industry 5.0. So where they are talking about interaction of men and machines, and people have to be very careful in adopting these technologies. It is possible that the control might go away from humans. So that is one of the dangers. One of the disadvantages.
That is an ethical issue, which I think we even discussed in Hinduja Global, because when we went from level 1 to level 3 to bot, it was an ethical issue actually. I agree with you.
Yeah. So that is what will slow it down. Otherwise, if you ask me as a concept, it can be adopted immediately. It's not difficult where 5G has come. But issue will be, like I told you, the importance of machines versus men, and control going away from men, human beings. In fact, we heard some accidents happening where the machines were driven by artificial intelligence and machine learning. They started behaving in a different way. So those are the issues. I think uh, it might slow down the process.
Very much possible. Very much possible.
Wonderful insights. Dr. Amit? Yeah, Dr. Amit, your words of some words from you on latest technologies. Then would you like Pankaj to start on sector analysis?
Actually, metaverse is a topic which is very much unknown to most of us, and we covered it very well. And it was like it was a clean. We got a basic understanding of everything very clearly, and hopefully it will be a next technology for investment as well. So we should look for good ideas out of this. I was just thinking I have not met Ravi 10 years back. Otherwise, I would have invested in Bitcoin as well.
By the way, I'm not a big fan of Bitcoin.
Even I am not, but it has actually made money. A lot of billionaires out of nowhere.
At the same time, a lot of people have gone pauper also.
So hopefully there will be a lot of billionaires coming out of metaverse as well.
No, while on this subject, cryptocurrency, like Dr. Amit said, it has created a new investment opportunity, and a lot of millionaires came out of that. That is true. Again, when you talk about all these technologies, blockchain and all, this is one of the major uses of blockchain technology, your cryptocurrency. And like Mr. Ravi said, no government has recognized this. We all know that this can be misused, and especially the control. I was talking about control of things by human beings. So this crypto and blockchain, they are out of control of our hands. Actually, it is a central system, and right now, if you see internet and internet 2, we saw that there was a central system which was controlling the aspects of internet and others. And in this world where we have a lot of chaos, in fact, the chaos is increasing, we require some kind of control. So in that situation, if you ask me whether this blockchain, of course, blockchain, you can use it for inventory management and others, real estate management, etc. But blockchain, using it for currency and for other purposes, like Mr. Ravi said, there are ethical issues. And plus, there is a lot of scope for misuse. And what we hear in the last 1 month, I believe more than $3 billion of coins were stolen. Yeah, in the month of October, so far, I think the Bitcoins, $3 billion are already stolen by people. So what we are seeing, human intelligence is being applied even there also to see that how frauds can be perpetrated.
Exactly.
Yeah. So these are issues, but of course we have to see where they can be used constructively, and they should be used constructively. Yeah.
Okay. To continue forward, we have Pankaj Ji with us. Pankaj Ji is a very renowned investor, and we all know his initial identification of the trend. I know him since more than 10 to 15 years. He is a pioneer in terms of lot of good investment companies, and we all recognize him as a as a finder of hidden gems, as an investor. So please welcome Pankaj ji for the next to give a detailed presentation. I think Pankaj ji, I think actually got disconnected.
I think till Pankaj joins back, Mr. Kannan.
Yes.
Yeah, would like you to share a few thoughts on the defense sector. You have closely looked at the sector and share a few thoughts. Pankaj has joined again. Yeah, but share a few thoughts on defense. And then Ravi, you can also share a few thoughts on defense. You have close associates with companies in defense sector. Yeah, Mr. Kannan.
Coming to defense, you know,
Hello.
It is
Hello.
a very it's
Hello.
worldwide the industry size is about $750 billion, and in US it is a very large industry. In fact, US is the largest exporter of defense equipment in the world, and in fact, the recent developments, if you look at till 2, 3, 4 years back, the countries were not willing to share the technology with other countries. That includes India also. But in the last 3, 4 years, we are able to convince, thanks to diplomacy, we are able to convince US and USSR and few other European countries to share technology with us. And in fact, India now they set a goal whereby they want to make defense as one of the sectors which can contribute in a big way to exports. So not only defense and space also. So we are looking at these two areas for exports. The strength we have India, we have we have a lot of engineering talent, R&D pool. Plus, we already proven ourselves in IT. In fact, when I was conducting a program for Mazagon Dock about 5 years ago, they wanted to export ships to other countries in the world. In fact, the first tender they got was from Brazil for 2 ships. They got. I don't know whether they finally got the order. So what I found when I went and analyzed their system, I found that more than 70-80% of components required for shipbuilding, they are all imported. That's one. And second is that what I found, if you are going to make these components within India, you can make these components within India at 30-40% of the cost compared to the cost at which we are buying the components. So that way now there is a focus on indigenization of some of these components, which will bring down the price of components, which will bring down the price of ship also. One more thing I found, suppose if you set a target of 48 months to build a ship, you are taking 70-80 months. So considering that we are very far ahead in IT, using our project management systems, it should be possible to reduce the time to produce a ship. So some of those things I discussed with the top management for one day. It was a one-day program where we discussed what all can be done to make Mazagon Dock competitive for exports of ships. I can tell you similarly, if you look at other defense establishments, I remember I was doing an assignment for ordnance factories about 30 years ago, where we found that each factory had 8,000, 9,000 people in the factory. And you believe it or not, most of the professions required, like they have bakery to make breads, they have tailors to make clothes. So those are all very self-sufficient factories, and they had a large land. And we know that we have some of the famous factories for defense here, CVRD, etc. So if you ask me right now, under the umbrella of Atmanirbhar Bharat, as well as our focus on uh, procuring the latest technologies for manufacturing, then not only for India but for the world, I'm sure this defense is one sector along with space. They can start contributing in a big way to exports of India. Not only exports, you know, India is one of the largest importers of defense equipment in the world, and it should be possible even to reduce the level of imports. Like I said, when you import products, they are 70-80% costly. So when you start making it within India, obviously the rate will come down, and we will be able to produce more products. And one good thing is that now all these countries are having technologies, they are willing to part the patents with us, and they are also willing to buy back. You know, we have this defense and defense procurement policy. We have a program whereby uh, whatever you produce, there's some kind of buyback. Some arrangements are being made by government, so we can start exporting also. So these are my views. Of course, like I think Mr. Pankaj was saying, I remember his speech on defense some 2-3 months back. What we see is that most of the stocks in this sector, they started going up, like Mazagan Docks, Cochin Shipyard, GRSC. So we see prices are going up, Bharat Dynamics, etc. And I'm sure that we will see. When I studied what I found, there are about 200 companies involved in supplying components to Mazagon Dock from India. And of course, the leading private sector player that time, I'm not sure now who it is. It was L&T. L&T manufacturers, I think Godrej manufacturers. So if some of the large companies, if they drop a plan for expansion in a big way, then we will see this sector, especially in manufacturing of defense equipment, will start going up. And we also see that mainly moving vehicles, the defense vehicles, defense systems carrying vehicles. Already 4 or 5 companies from India, they have a joint venture with the leading companies across the world. I don't remember which company, last week or 10 days ago. One company, I think it is Mahindra, if I'm not mistaken. So they have produced their first vehicle, armored vehicle. Of course, we see armored vehicles here in Mumbai, manufactured by Mahindra, but this one which has a higher advanced technical systems. Similarly, companies like Ashok Leyland, I don't know, Tata Motors. So all these people, they have tie-ups with leading players in the world. And when they start ramping up their business, you'll find that defense as a sector will attain critical mass, and it will be one of the manufacturing uh, areas for India as well as for exports. That's all what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Great, wonderful thoughts. Pankaj?
Yeah, I am there.
A bullseye several times.
No, there were some, I think some call came and in between the audio went off. Then I have to re-log in. That's why there is nag. So I think
bullseye, we are talking about stock selections in different sectors.
Nothing
Hospitality,
like that,
defense. Yeah. Your deep insights on sectors and companies.
So basically, as Kannan sir mentioned very clearly that in Majgaon dock itself, the component is being imported, and those are, if it is getting manufactured in India, it will be at the cost of 30-40%. He's just nailed the last nail in the coffin. So I would how we would like to take it forward, Manojji? You want me to explain the entire defense ecosystem and how you want to take it forward?
You share your deep dive knowledge on the sector, latest developments, and stocks, long-term, short-term opportunities available.
I will try to explain where
as
we
a
are.
Part of the series.
Yeah, so where we are standing right now in terms of defense manufacturing, that is very important. So till 70 year, we were net importer, always. Right now also net importer, we were importing like anything. So if you will see that this defense establishment in the company, we were doing nothing. We were doing just a donkey's job. All fabrication job being done in India. The core manufacturing capability never being developed in India. Always we were importing. Today also, if you see, Tejas is a almost 40-year-old program. Now we are delivering. Still, how much is the indigenous component? It is just 48%. And what is the maximum contribution in that? That is the composite material, because the entire body is made out of composite material. So that is the main. Still, we are dependent on the engine, landing gear, all imported. So this is not only case with the HAL. It is the case with the let us say all the shipping company, even the missiles, everything. As Kannanji mentioned that the manufacturer in this segment is Godrej Boyas, then L&T. They are making the system and subsystem. So if we try to understand that defense, on the top, the platform company, the product we see like Tejas, LCH, or Vikrant, etc., or Brahmos, or Rudram, or let us say Akash, Pinaka. These are the final product. So after that, in the pyramid comes the system and subsystem. So let us say propellant system. So propellant system is what? So basically, it is a kind of what we say that like solar industry or Premier Explosive make the propellant that is filled in some case. So that is one system. Then likewise, then motor, ramjet engine. Then on the top, you will see the warheads. So these are the three parts of the missiles. So every part is one system. Within that, there are subsystems like electronics, like that. Then comes to, so what is the first is the platform, the final product, then the system, then subsystem, system made out of subsystem, then subsystem made out of components, components made out of material. So if you will see, India has started making straight away fighter jet. We never bothered about that the bottom of the pyramid has to be in place, then only the building can be put up on that. China has did the same, entirely different, just opposite. They called every big company like Airbus, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Safran, you come to me, I will make you make the component for you at a cheaper price, right? They had developed the material capability, strategic material we say, and they started getting all the design and everything and copied them. They kept it for them. They supplied it for 20 years. Suddenly one day China came and they had made Airbus A320 kind of civilian aircraft also, which is the most difficult aerospace thing has to be manufactured. So in India, we did just opposite. We just first design the Tejas and start building the Tejas. We will bring this from there, but nothing has happened. Now, since the Modi government came and they understood the problem, and of course the earlier cut culture was there, so now those things are not there. So now the entire ecosystem is getting built. It is in a very early stage, but whatever is the beginning is there. And take my word, this is going for the next 25, 30 year kind of story. This is just a beginning. So as we talk, so Majgaon Dock, if they are doing that, they are the final product producer. But if you'll ask you, so Vikrant took almost 18 years to get delivered, 18 or 14 years. The reason was, what was the reason? I think earlier I had mentioned, because we don't have, Russia has denied the steel, special steel. Then SAIL, Rourkela and Bokaro has developed that with the DRDO, and then we are delivering. We delivered the Vikrant. The same way, the delay because of that. And as Kannan sir told, many foreign companies are now willing to share the technology. That is not the correct definition. They are not willing to share till now. Since India is the biggest spender of defense or biggest procurer of defense, and India is aspiring to become the exporter to the third world countries, that's why these companies have now at least looking at, because their manufacturing cost is very, very high. The third world company cannot buy their equipment. So they are looking at India as a production base, and from here they want to reap the benefit. Still, they are very, very reluctant to share the technology. Still, whatever the technology they are sharing, they are all obsolete. But I understand this government is very smart enough. They will definitely twist them, and they will get the technology. So that is the real. We had seen the good run up in the defense stock in last, let us say, 1 year or so, and I got many call that now this is over. Now nothing. So sub इसमें तो discounted हो गया. But I think that is not the case. Whenever any sector start building the big bull run, the initial knee-jerk reaction comes. After that, the some cool down or correction period, and then the real story kicks in. So probably we had done the initial knee-jerk, and then we will consolidate for some time. Of course, this kind of rise has to be digested. Then only the next leg of good bull run we will see, a great bull run we will see. So I am open for the question. That will be more prudent too, because if I am talking, that will not serve the purpose. Let the people come out with the question, then I can answer.
सारका टार्च कुठे आहे?
Manoj ji?
Yeah, would anybody like to share any thoughts on any of the issues or companies or opportunities in the sector? We are taking up all the issues as suggested.
Pankaj, just one small question.
Just put on your video.
Hi, Pankaj, Rajiv here.
Yeah, Rajiv, yeah.
You said with respect to controllers, we are developing and the system has just started. So a lot of small companies, if you feel which are SME who are not yet likely to come to the market, do you have any some companies and ideas or trying to get listed or any SME sector companies which can highlight in respect to controllers who are having it inside of any small companies apart from your PTC industries and Paras and
So I will try to answer your question slightly differently. So your question is, if you will see the defense procurement program or policy, now the government is very clear that any SME company who are supplying any kind of goods or services, their dues has to be cleared in 90 days. And that you can look at the balance sheet of Sika Interplant or Avantel or for that sake, high energy battery, HBL power. Their cash flows has improved substantially. Okay. So far, why this ecosystem has not been built in India? Because of the, I would say, corruption. Everything getting imported. So whoever were trying to build something, they were not getting paid off. So now, if you will see, I will tell you one very interesting fact. Godrej Boyas is making the lower two part of the BrahMos missile. Okay. And they are loss making. So why they will increase their capacity? They will not. So now government has given them grant that you increase your production capacity. Then only more missile can be made. That's why I told you the real money lies in strategic material and component. The fabrication work, I will not take the name, but fabrication and CNC job. CNC, again, who are the company who are doing the CNC job? If you see their turnover ratio and capex, it is 1:1. Of course, the EBITDA margin is 40%, but you see the capex they have to do. Suppose you want to do 1,000 crore top line, then you have to put 1,000 crore rupees. Right? This is a huge sum. So this fabrication will not make us a big.
I got it, sir. I got it what you're saying, sir.
So the government is also very conscious. So they are giving grant also to increase the production. Once those things will happen, then definitely everybody's balance sheet will get repaired and the ecosystem will improve.
So I'm talking with respect to controllers, sir. Controllers में कौन है?
मुझे लगता है data pattern is the very good bet in data pattern and Astra. Those are the, apart from BEL, data pattern Astra is the data pattern is the my. I will tell
electronic controller.
I like that company. Centem is also there. Centem is also there. Apollo Microsystem is also there. And apart from that, one of my friend has told me that Park Controls karke company. They are also doing very good job. Then Paras is in optics and all. So these are the companies, and definitely there a lot of small companies will come out. We don't know the name. A lot of people are doing the good job, but still they have to prove, because defense is not something like that you can do in 6 months. There are a process to it. First, anybody has to approve the plant audit. After plant audit, you have to go for a, let us say, product demonstration, then the product audit, then your trial order will come, that will be get checked. So it is a almost 2 to 3 year job. Of course, the longevity of the product is also there. It will go for 20, 30, 40 years. So it is always the balance out. Like in autos and all, if there is a malfunction, you recall and change it. But in defense equipment, you can't do it. You have to be precise and accurate from the day zero.
Okay. And one more thing, like the defense में देखना है तो अगर आप देखेंगे तो like we have airplanes, we have ships, and we have land equipments like land mobility kind of the Bharat Forge Defense and Mahindra develops. So which side of the segment where the government is spending more, and you can see that one is to deploy the money, either ship or airways or missile side or anything, where someone needs to invest in that kind of
if you will see,
उसके नीचे वाले सब सिस्टम में जाना चाहिए जो उसके कंपनी में जाना चाहिए, where you can see the more traction.
So you have to see, I got your questions probably. So if you have to see the current war is going on, that is not based on the land fight, right? The most of the war is on the electronic side, or I would say from the skies. So missile and aerospace, these are going to be two key factors in the any war. Let us say helicopter, fighter jet, drones, then missiles. Missiles are always termed as a strategic thing. So these two is going to be the key in this. And electronic warfare is definitely the future is coming as a laser war. So that is also is, so of course, if naval is there, naval is having their own air force. They are having their own missile system, torpedoes. So if you'll ask me, then this is the way: missiles, aerospace, and then naval. Army is going to be just for the protection and like that.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir.
There are hundreds of companies as of now in the engineering and defense ecosystem. Small enterprises, medium enterprises. We are going to see apparently a sea change. So far, orders were sporadic, lot of testing, price quality controls. It has been time consuming, like Kalyani Group started in defense about a decade ago. And lot of intensive work for the last 5 years. Now outcome has just started, and we'll have a spate of orders coming, and then they would grow up and have larger and larger component of defense. I think Reliance Group also did a lot of work and went through a lot of ups and downs due to various issues in shipyard, in also armaments. And there are hundreds of companies, whether it is metallurgical sector, steel sector. Ultimately now, what the trend we are seeing, particularly the last 1-2 years, Atmanirbhar, and we mentioned about scams and imports. A paradigm shift is coming. So it is for all of us to identify the companies, larger companies and smaller companies servicing this ecosystem, where we can have a huge delta coming.
Manojji, the problem is not with the any company can make the component. The problem always lies with the material. For example, we might have heard that a lot of aluminum casting is being used in the aerospace. But if I ask someone that someone can tell me or can ask me that India has got a lot of aluminum casting facility, aluminum die casting, but that will not serve the purpose. That is being sold at 16 to 20 lakhs rupees a ton. Globally, only 12 companies are empowered to make aerospace or marine grade aluminum casting, and that is being sold at 1.5 crore rupees a ton. So that is the problem. So So we have to look at the company who has got the core technologies, core manufacturing technologies, and they have that capability to make those kind of materials. India is lacking behind just because we don't have a strategic material manufacturing facility within the country. Even though we're talking about Medhani, just go and check the Medhani's GST number they are filing, how much they are manufacturing and how much trading they are doing. Just go and find out, you will get all your answers. So that is the problem. So identifying a company under component or strategic material segment is very, very difficult right now. As you mentioned, Bharat Forge. Again, of course, Bharat Forge is a great company and their facility and everything is superb, world class. But they are into the forging. So maximum component which is getting used in defense is being casted, not forged. That is the problem. Because you require a near net shape. Forging will never give you the net shape. And if you are going to make through it forging, it will be very, very costly. So that is the problem we need to understand. Of course, slowly everything is getting sorted out. And I hope that in coming year, we will see a lot of things are happening in the country. So on any company or something like any questions there, I am really happy to answer.
It shows a huge opportunity for value addition.
Yes.
The type of opportunities available, the per ton cost and a per ton selling price by way of value addition.
HAL is moving very fast in the technology adoption and making the JV to get the technology with Safran and even Rolls-Royce. So HAL looks to be in the very sweet position. Of course, one run-up has happened, so might be some time correction maybe there. But HAL is bound to get a very good upside from here on also. Because if you will see our Sukhoi 30 MKI, most of the squadron is grounded because of non-availability of component and all. The first time I understand government has allocated 25,000 crore to revamp and make them fly. So a lot of thing you will hear going forward, that even in electronic side, a lot of order is going outside BEL, and a lot of metal component will be placed to the private company. So those things you will see, you will hear in due course, and that is a big sum. So you can find out that who all can supply these electronic parts or metal parts for Sukhoi to HAL. So that will be interesting to see. I am also trying to find out, but apparently look like the electronic side, Data Pattern and Astra, then BEL of course, and Centum, Apollo Microsystem. These are the name comes to my mind. And definitely they are going to benefit out of that. On the metal side, definitely Medhani will be one. Second is probably I had invested in that company. That's why I don't want to take that name, but that will also be one of that. So those things are in pipeline. So it looks like a great time for us to hear. And I understand there is a one hidden company within the Nippo, Kaman Kamani. They are into this one. Kaman, KMN. One can go through the Nippo battery presentation. You will get there. They are into the composite side. So that is also looks interesting, because all this glider and all, we had seen the positive list that air glider is in the import embargo list now. It has to be manufactured in India. Then a lot of composite will come. And if someone remembers, Reliance has taken over the Camrock facility for around 600 crore. The only carbon fiber manufacturing facility in India, and globally probably third or fourth facility. So that is, if that company would not have busted, we could have a great opportunity to reap. But now we have to play it through Reliance, which is a giant. I don't know how much value will fall for us by that, but the only carbon fiber manufacturing unit with Reliance now. So that is one thing I want to mention.
There's a lot of buzz on BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited. What is happening there?
Yeah. Just I forgot. So as Kannan sir told, so BHEL is going to be one of the key component manufacturer for defense sector, because they have got the core engineering expertise. Design team is also very good. So once it can become a dark horse. So we have to look at Bharat Electrical more like a defense component manufacturer than the electrical component manufacturer. So that is a good idea. Yes. But one has to be patient, because defense is not a quarterly number job. You have to take a call for at least 2-3 years, then you will see the parabola is getting created. If you are there for कि next quarter में number नहीं आया, उसके बाद number नहीं आया, then you will fall wrong. First, do your study in depth, understand the entire ecosystem, and see what is the expertise in the company, how much price command they can demand, then only invest. Otherwise, you will go wrong, because defense is always a very long gestation investment. But I think now we are just sitting on the fence that now the things will start moving very fast. Because if you will see, we have to go back to in 2014 when Modi came. From here, he started the defense ecosystem creation in India. So it has been 8 years. It is not 2 years now. It has been 8 years. So the time has come to explode. If I want to narrate in, so by 2030, Indian defense budget will be $200 billion. Currently, it is $70 billion. And if I take rupees 100 by 2030, then it is 20 lakh crore. And out of which around 30-35% will be capex side only every year. So 6 to 7 lakh crore rupees will be spent on all this kind of guns, armored vehicle, missiles, fighter jet, helicopter, then blah, 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 everything. So just you can imagine what is the right now, the entire, including HAL, BDL, Majgaon Dock and private players are getting. I think it is not more than 40,000 crore or 45,000 crore. I don't have the number. I think the HAL is the highest 20,000 crore. So just you imagine 6 lakh crore. Until that time, the Indianization will reach to around 85 to 90%. So almost 5 lakh crore, the revenue will come to the Indian company, whether it is a government or private. Just you can imagine the kind of headroom available for them, and the tailwind is also very, very strong. So in my view, this is going to be a killer sector for the next 20-25 years.
Great opportunities, long-term and parabola effect. We saw also the type of kind of patience which was required in stocks like Cochin Shipyard, Mazgaon. They took a long time of underperformance. And when orders started going up, scaling up, and the project started getting commissioning, and then we have great parabolic rises where we get even 50 to 100% in a few couple of quarters. But it tests a lot of patience. Intrinsic value was there, underperformance is there, and the key is identifying the sector and getting in at the right time, understanding the intrinsic value and benefiting from the long-term opportunities. The results come. It happened in Bharat Electronics, where now bonuses are coming. Cochin shipyard, Mazgaon dock, big ships getting commissioned, and more orders coming. And as we talked about the huge budget and also the policy and philosophy of Atmanirbhar, that means less reliance on imports and domestic companies. Our technology, of course, has been the best. And now there is huge opportunity for exports because of huge capex also, which is likely to happen in the global countries post reconstruction due to the war, and more confidence in India and more skepticism of some of the developed countries and their reliability of lack of reliability. I think that can be a good opportunity for India.
Even Manoj, I would like to mention here that US is also poaching Indian companies to be the part of their supply chain, defense supply chain. And if you will see the recent statement from our Air Chief Marshal, India is having right now limit of 42 squadron of the air fleet. So they need at least now 48. In my view, it is going to be in next 10 year or 15 year, it is going to be right. So that is going to be a very, very different ball game. So good opportunity, but you need a lot of patience, no doubt about it.
That's really wonderful. And our time is over now. Excellent session for 3 hours conclave, deep dive discussions. Wish all the participants a very happy festive season and a Diwali ahead. And all are welcome as usual to share the topics to be taken up by the participants and panel who can prepare and deliver on the latest topics. It's really, really wonderful. Thanks to all the participants. Wonderful insights.
Yeah, thank you all. Wishing you all a happy Diwali. Yeah.
Happy Diwali to you.
Yeah. Thanks.